Delhi, there are allegations. In Punjab, a minister has been forced to quit by Mr. Kejriwal. So it's not as if corruption is not hitting the party. If it can hit the party and singe it in Punjab, why can't the same be true of Delhi? These are fundamental questions. But right after the resignation, the AAP and the BJP have exchanged barbs, acerbic barbs. And viewers, you're going to hear the interaction. This is AAP's tallest leaders versus the BJP's sharpshooters. Watch this.
We have just learned that Mr. Manish Sisodiya has resigned, and so has Mr. Satinder Jain. And to our great surprise, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has also accepted the resignation of Mr. Satinder Jain after 9 months. If Mr. Manish Sisodiya had any moral compass left, being the disciple of Anna Hazare movement, he ought to have resigned on the day this scandalous allegations came to light. The whole conduct of Aam Aadmi Party is typified by 3C: cut, commission and corruption.
उनका काम किसी प्रकार से रुकना नहीं चाहिए, बाधित नहीं होना चाहिए. इस कारण से दोनों मंत्रियों का, आदरणीय मनीष सिसोदिया जी का और सत्येंद्र जैन जी का इस्तीफा लिया गया है. उसको मुख्यमंत्री जी ने स्वीकार कर लिया है. इन दोनों मंत्रियों के ऊपर लगे हुए आरोप का सवाल है. ये आरोप पूरी तरीके से बेबुनियाद है, फर्जी है. कैसे एक सरकार को, कैसे आम आदमी पार्टी की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता से, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता से घबरा कर और परेशान होकर आज बीजेपी और मोदी सरकार उत्पीड़न की कार्रवाई कर रही है.
Well, right after this, viewers, Sisodia also put out a statement stressing that he has done an honest job as minister and that his God and guiding light, Lord Krishna, would never have allowed him to make a mistake that would hurt the public interest or take him away from the path of probity. Despite Sisodia giving himself a clean chit, he will find it difficult to shake off the perception that he has had to quit because the case against him is sticking to him and the party. Now viewers, as I said, despite Sisodia giving himself a clean chit, he will find it difficult to shake off this perception. And one of the reasons is that while the alleged liquor scam is a complicated case with many strands, but there is one basic angle that holds the key to decoding what the probe is all about. And it is this angle that many people say is the Achilles heel of the Aam Aadmi Party, of Mr. Sisodia, of the other group of ministers. Let me explain. This particular angle focuses, viewers, on a mystery tweak, a small change made to the liquor policy that investigators believe benefited certain liquor barons that got licenses to sell in Delhi. The Delhi government had appointed an expert committee to devise a liquor policy. The expert committee made an important recommendation. It said that a liquor company that manufactures or is a wholesaler should not be given a liquor license to retail in any zone. The city of Delhi was divided into 32 zones, viewers, you might recall that. The expert committee felt that awarding wholesalers licenses to sell liquor would lead to cartelization. This is logical. After all, if the supplier is also selling, he is a retailer, he or she can hoard the stock, create an artificial shortfall, and then jack up the prices. The agencies believe that this key recommendation was deliberately ignored and disregarded. Viewers, the question of course is, who disregarded this recommendation? Agencies say that the AAP government formed 3-member group of ministers allegedly conspired to reject the committee's recommendations. Given that wholesalers and manufacturers of liquor were granted licenses to sell, The 3-member GOM included Mr. Sisodia, who was its head. Coincidentally, the other was Satyendra Jain, who is in jail and who has also quit his berth today. Why is he in jail? He's in jail in a very separate money laundering case. The 3rd minister was Kailash Gehlot, who is also under the scanner in another matter of alleged financial impropriety. Now viewers, the facts are on your screens. These wholesalers that were not supposed to have got licenses to sell in a particular zone ended up getting them. Now viewers, why would Sisodia-led GOM have disregarded the expert committee report? Now the agencies believe that it was because of a rupees 100 crore kickback paid by a group of liquor barons from the south of India. The agencies believe that these kickbacks were paid to get manufacturers to secure retail licenses. In fact, 9 out of 32 licenses were granted to the South liquor barons, also called the South Group. Prominent among these are 2 which the agencies say are linked to political parties. Now viewers, we are talking about Indo Spirits, which is owned by Sameer Mahindru, but agencies say that he sold 65% of his company stocks to proxies allegedly linked to K. Kavita, who is not just an MLC from the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, but is also the daughter of Chief Minister KCR of Telangana, viewers. So there is a big question mark now over whether K. Kavita will be further investigated. After all, she is accused of paying bribes to secure liquor license. I'm not saying it, viewers, the agencies are saying it. And the BJP believes that she is going to be the next one going to jail. How they know, why they are saying this, we will ask. The other company is liquor manufacturer Enrica Enterprises, also from the south. Though this company is owned by Magunta Reddy, who is a member of parliament from Andhra and belongs to the YSRCP, 2 licenses were given to his son Raghav Reddy. The agencies claim that Raghav Reddy's father lobbied for his son with Chief Minister Kejriwal directly. Now viewers, the ED also makes a reference to the meeting between Reddy and Kejriwal. It says, and let me take you through what the ED has said in its own supplementary charge sheet. When it comes to the first company, Indo Spirits, the ED says that Vijay Nair arranged Kejriwal Mahindru's FaceTime call. Kejriwal told Mahindru that Vijay is my boy, trust him and he will get things done. This is what the ED is saying. The ED, as I said, makes references to a meeting between Mr. Reddy and Kejriwal also. MS Reddy met Kejriwal to know more about the Delhi excise policy. This is what the ED is claiming. Kejriwal welcomed YSRCP MP's entry in the Delhi liquor trade. Many people are saying, viewers, that Arvind Kejriwal himself can't distance himself from this entire scandal, this alleged scam. Now let's open this up, because this is an important debate tonight, viewers. It's a very important debate tonight. We're expecting the BJP's Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, member and national spokesperson of the BJP, to also join us any moment. But this is an important debate, and I must begin with Fani Bhushan Kukarapu, who is a political analyst. Also, there's Dr. Akashdeep Muni, speaks vocally in support of the Aam Aadmi Party. There's Tehseen Poonawala, who's representing the opposition today, and Ishkaran Bhandari, an advocate, who's also here with us. So let me just come straight out to you, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, and this is a question that needs to be answered. It's not just in Delhi that there is a problem, that investigators have zeroed in on certain big faces within the Delhi government and accused them of corruption. As you know, Dr. Muni, this has been happening in Punjab. In fact, the Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann sacked Health Minister Vijay Singla, Punjab Health Minister Vijay Singla, for allegedly demanding commissions for allotment of contracts. He was then arrested by the Vigilance Bureau. When Vijay Singla was sacked, Mr. Muni, Arvind Kejriwal said that he was in tears. He was so moved by emotion over the alacrity shown by the Punjab Chief Minister in fighting corruption. And I'll quote him, "Your action has brought tears to my eyes." वो रोने लग गए थे, केजरीवाल जी.
हाँ, ऐसा नहीं होता है पॉलिटिक्स में.
5 days ago, Punjab Vigilance Bureau arrested ruling Aam Aadmi Party's Bhatinda rural MLA Amit Ratan Kotfata in a bribery case also. And Bhagwant Mann hailed this decision, saying law is equal for all and that there is zero tolerance for corruption, etc.
Yes.
So, if the alacrity was so great there, and these people are prima facie guilty, as Mr. Kejriwal would have us believe, no one else, Mr. Kejriwal himself was crying, why should we believe that Delhi wale, जो इनके leaders हैं, they are made of corruption proof material? DNA तो
nobody. I'm not saying that you should believe anybody or not believe anybody.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is that, 500 raids, 10,000 pages of charge sheet, and not a single money trail found by ED and CBI.
No, why?
Wow.
How can you say not a money trail?
No.
100 crore kickback trail is there, sir. I've just explained
Where is the
it.
money? Where is the money?
No, what do you mean, where is the money?
Where is the money? I want to ask BJP, where is the money?
Okay.
10,000 crore कहाँ पर है? Where is the money? If you don't have money,
100
then there is no
crores, not
point,
10,000. Okay, where is the money? That means it should come out of bank accounts. Maybe,
No,
sir.
no. What I am saying is that there is no excise scam altogether.
Oh,
this
no
is
scam.
just a witch hunt against one person.
Okay.
That is Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party. They want
Okay.
to douse it. Now I'll be making all the facts. I am ready to answer all the facts, like why the excise policy was taken back, why there is a hike in the commission, why everything. But I just want to ask one thing, that there is number of cases against number of people in Bharatiya Janata Party who were not in Bharatiya Janata Party.
That is true. That point we have made yesterday, but Dr. Muni, that point we made. No, but that is not a defense. That is not a defense. Let's get to the specifics. Dr. Muni, let me ask you.
I am ready.
A expert committee meets. An expert committee holds open public consultations. The expert committee comes up with an important, very important recommendation. Somehow that recommendation is tweaked. The note that should explain why that recommendation has been tweaked disappears. We don't know where that note is, by the way. So we don't know why the GOM, led by Mr. Sisodia, tweaked the recommendation which was in national and public interest, that we should not have cartelization. Because of the cartelization.
What is cartelization?
Excuse me.
There is a tendering process.
Dr. Pri, let me just finish. Because of that cartelization, because manufacturers and wholesalers were given licenses, despite the expert committee saying that इससे problem होगा, और किसको problem होगा? जनता को. ये लोग jack up करेंगे prices. इनको फायदा होगा, not the janta. But chalo, theek hai. 1 second, let me just finish my question, so I'm not going to take much more of your time. Now, in its wisdom, the GOM decides that this is not good. We should give wholesalers and we should encourage, which has been admitted. The fact that cartelization was taking place has been admitted. So why would you go against an expert committee that warned you, and then the recommendation that you make, the note, disappears? Where is that note? Why has that note disappeared? Only that note. Why?
Now I'll answer all the questions. Now my point is this particular excise policy did not go through only the cabinet. It also went through the Lieutenant Governor Anil Bajal. The policy was sent to him. He made some changes. He recommended it. The changes were put forward in the meet, and then it was incorporated. And then these changes, the whole file was sent back for the assent, and Lieutenant Governor did give his assent on the final excise policy.
So the Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Bajal, has come out. No, Dr. Muni, Mr. Bajal has come out and made some statements. I'll acquaint you with those statements. I just started with a basic fact. Okay. Maybe you even fooled the Lieutenant Governor. It can happen. Maybe he is somebody who has been co-opted. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the government should look into that angle. You're very right. But let me ask you. The GOM goes against the suggestions of the expert committee and public opinion. Because after all, the expert committee in a very transparent manner put it out to the public. And the public responded, in including very eminent lawyers, saying, ye galat hoga if you give manufacturers and retailers and wholesalers the opportunity to also turn into retailers. They said it was wrong. But the GOM formulates a new policy, and the ED says it is because of certain bribes that were paid. And these are all allegations that are made before the court.
You can, I'll answer.
Let me
Short,
finish.
30 seconds.
Why would the GOM go against the expert committee and then the cabinet note that is very vital to justify disappears? Ye cabinet note kahan hai?
You have to understand why this policy was brought into forefront. Why the old policy was removed.
Forget all that, sir. I don't care. I'm asking you, why was a recommendation that was made by innocent people who had no skin in the game, who were serving the public interest, overturned? Why? And the note...
Because...
yes, tell me.
This particular policy is in the benefit of the common man. The reason behind it is that the exchequer, as per the old policy, the exchequer was getting 6,000 crore rupees from the old excise policy.
Right.
As per the new excise policy, it was promised in bonds that 8,900 crore, which is 2,900 crore more, will be brought into this exchequer after this second excise policy was brought in.
Okay.
The benefit was the common man.
So why did you withdraw it?
In the exchequer.
Why did
I'll
you
tell you.
withdraw
I'll tell you. It will take 1 minute if you allow me without interruption.
Of course, sir. Please.
Okay. I'll tell you. There was a total of 849 liquor shops in Delhi. There was 32 zones. Whereas there was only 40 zones where the whole liquor shops were circulated, like Kiradi, Buradi, etc. What happens is that the new liquor policy brought in that they should be circulated throughout the whole Delhi. So this was brought in. After much talks, it was finally brought in. On 17 November, when this was to be started, the then LG said that no, this particular liquor policy cannot be held implemented throughout the whole 100% area. It will be only in the 40% area. The
Dr. Muni, this policy was withdrawn after, excuse me,
High Court said
Dr. Muni,
let me complete. Then the High Court ordered that the 30% of the fees to be returned back to the licensees. It means that the 30% benefit that the exchequer was getting, it was to be returned back. So there was no benefit. That is why it was again back to square one. First, पहले आप रोकोगे, फिर आप पूछोगे कि ना कि वापस कैसे लिया गया, क्यों लिया गया, और फिर आप बोलोगे कि ना कि भाई आप रिजाइन कर दो, फिर हम रिजाइन करते हैं, फिर आप बोलोगे रिजाइन क्यों किया?
Okay, so Dr. Muni, there is a very simple question. Just answer it before I bring in Sudhanshu Trivedi. He's itching to also respond to you. I'll ask him some questions. Is it not a fact, sir, that the policy was withdrawn only after the probe began? Is it not a fact?
The policy was withdrawn because the licensees went to the High Court.
Was it not a fact? Once a probe was begun because there were irregularities suspected, only then did you withdraw the policy? Yes or no? Just answer this question.
No, probe happened because there is a witch hunt.
अरे
This will be happening.
भाई then why did
आगे
you
भी
withdraw your
होगा।
policy? इतनी अच्छी पॉलिसी थी
क्योंकि
कि आपने
कोई
ट्वीक भी
तो
कर दी,
फायदा नहीं
कि
होगा
आपने
ना।
ट्वीक भी कर दी। नहीं
अगर
सर,
30% अगर हाईकोर्ट
फायदा
में-
इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि आपने उन लोगों को लाइसेंसेस दिए जिनको कमिटी ने, एक्सपर्ट कमिटी ने कहा कि नहीं देना चाहिए। प्रॉब्लम तो ये है।
Has all the recommendation of expert
Okay,
committee
let
has
me
to
bring
be
in
accepted
Dr.
by the
Sudhanshu
cabinet.
Trivedi. Dr. Trivedi, the question is simple and straightforward to you. This is a witch hunt. This is a witch hunt because the AAP is growing very successful. This is a witch hunt because the ED that goes after people singularly only goes after opposition. 90% of the cases that have been filed from 2014 till date by the ED are against only opposition. Less than 10% are against BJP. And those people that the ED was prosecuting when they were in the opposition, when they joined the BJP, वो दूध के धुल जाते हैं, washing machine में धुल जाते हैं, ये आपके बारे में कहा जा रहा है. Why shouldn't we consider this also witch hunt, says Dr. Muni. इस केस में डिफरेंट क्या है?
First, I would like to respond precisely on this thing. Then I will also respond to what you have said, because Dr. Muni has taken a very long chat trying to explain this. But I have seen that the true faith and allegiance which they are trying to express in favor of Lieutenant Governor is praiseworthy. And this shows that how much attachment they are having, trying to hide or rather than hoodwink people on the basis of these things. Second thing, they themselves have withdrawn the policy and then they themselves are defending it. I think you cannot see anything more which can be termed as oxymoron in this, that once you have withdrawn and still you are defending. And as far as this thing is concerned, I would just like to take one thing. You quote a single instance in the entire country when the government has announced an excise policy कि buy one bottle of liquor, another bottle is free. एक पौवे पे दूसरा पौवा free. Can you give an example of this? What was the basic motive? There are certain technical things which has happened. There are n number of things which the investigating agencies are doing, and he's saying that where is the money? You have not been able to. That's for which the investigation is going on. The investigating agencies will find out. That's why this investigation goes on, and if this is found, then the case is closed. But there are certain things. There are two things. If somebody has changed their mobile more than dozen times in 1 month, is it not enough to create a suspicion? If the SIM cards is changed, the mobile handsets is changed, why? At least you can say that I am ready to come out, that I have not done this. Second thing, if it is found that the draft of the policy was shared with somebody outside the government establishment, for which the forensic evidence are available, you can say that nothing of this sort has happened, but you are unable to say. But Rahul, I would like to say, ये नई राजनीति का नया स्वरूप है, जो दिल्ली में दारू का दरिया बहाकर दिल्ली की युवा पीढ़ी के भविष्य को खराब करके ये नई राजनीति ला रहे थे. I think the so-called new politics of the आम आदमी पार्टी has been blatantly exposed कि आपके 2 मिनिस्टर्स को आज after 8 months you have sought resignation. Yes, okay, but I just want to ask question. You are the party जो कहती थी allegation लगता ही इस्तीफा होना चाहिए, जांच बाद में होनी चाहिए. I think Mr. Muni should accept that he is ready to tender an apology, that they were naive when they made this type of statement. Now they withdraw from this because now their tone and tenor exactly resembles those parties which were charged with the biggest corruption, like DMK, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party. They used to say like this, where is the proof? It is not proven in the court, or so and so party is having so and so. मेरे विचार से ऐसी ट्यूनिंग आपकी तो कभी दिखाई नहीं पड़ती थी. So I think the so-called new politics of the Aam Aadmi Party has been totally. But Dr.
The Department of Revenue Intelligence made a statement against Adani Group. Still then not a single inquiry has been installed against Adani Group. Nor ED, no CBI, nothing. But you will be going after a man who has changed the education system in Delhi.
LIC has issued a statement, SBI has issued a statement, SEBI has issued a statement. Still you are not ready to believe any of the things because you are putting question mark on every institution of this country, sir. आपने किसको छोड़ा? You have put allegation on EVM, you have put allegation on Chief Election Commission, you have put allegation on media, you put allegation on the court, you have put allegation on the army, you put allegation on the Air Force. From where you have not put any allegation?
Gentlemen, please.
You are in a perpetual.
Okay, Dr. Muni, Dr. Trivedi. Gentlemen, please. Let's not shout to each other because we are actually at the end of the day doing an injustice to the viewers, taking up time to watch our show. Now, I just want to make a very quick, I want to read out something from the chart sheet. Now, this is about specific references to money. Someone said here that there is no money trail, to bhaiya, scam kahan hai? So let me now bring out the facts. As revealed by various persons mentioned above, MS Chariot Productions was involved in cash dealings, fake invoicing and under-invoicing and fraud while undertaking election campaign-related activities for AAP in Goa. The director and controller of this entity was also engaged in collecting cash on behalf of Vijay Nair from the South Group via Dinesh Arora. As seen from above, it is clear that the cash of the kickbacks that were paid by the South Group in advance to tweak the policy, which was collected by Shri Rajesh Joshi as disclosed by Shri Dinesh Arora, was then used in the election campaign of the AAP in Goa. Schematic diagram of the kickback payment trail and usage is as below, and I'm going to just show you that schematic diagram in just a few seconds, viewers. We're going to try and bring it up on screen for you. It's not easy. We're going to try and do that. It's from a document and we're going to try and put it out there. But the larger question still remains. So there is a cash trail, money taken, spent in election. Now, whether all of this adds up, I don't know. But I just want to bring in Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi once more. Dr. Trivedi, the fact of the matter is that the ED has an unerring ability to only focus on opposition. ये आप समझा दीजिए कि 90% plus cases सिर्फ opposition पे क्यों हैं? Even under UPA, sir, the ratio was very different.
Very appropriate question. In this context, I would like to ask. You take before 2014. हमारी तमाम states में government थी. Since last 40 years, we are having various state governments and various central government. Still the agencies were behind whom? Before 2014. 2G, CWG, coal, from there to Bofors to Volcker reports, all the time opposition parties leaders were under investigation. Even before 2014, so it's the case. After 2014, even before 2014, there was no allegation and no investigation against any BJP leader. If there was an allegation, it has been clearly, like he would try to put forth an example of Yedurappa, which was duly cleared by the court. Then we taken him. At the time of the proceeding, he was out of BJP. So I want, 2014 से पहले भी तो यही था. अब चूंकि अगर आपके यहाँ करप्ट ज्यादा है, तो आप कह रहे हैं कि साहब आपकी तरफ प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा है, किसी को रोग है और दूसरे को नहीं है, तो इसको मेडिसिन क्यों नहीं दी जा रही है, इसको इंजेक्शन क्यों नहीं लगाया जा रहा है? आई थिंक दिस लॉजिक डजंट सस्टेन.
Okay, so one second, it's a very important point, and Mr. Kukarappu is also there with us, so is Tehseen Poonawala and Ishkaran Bhandari. What Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying, which yesterday the BJP spokesperson could not point out, was this: that UPA between 2004 and 2014, total politicians under CBI probe were 72. Of these, opposition leaders were 43, Congress and allies were 29. What Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying is, look at these 43 cases. 99% of them would have been against non-BJP opposition parties. That's what he is saying. So, Mr. Fani Kukarappu, the basic problem here is...
Yeah, I would like to say...
The basic problem here is, sir, one second. We were talking about money flow. I have given the chart out. Please have a look on air. There is the money flow also. So, to say that there is no money might be a little premature. I don't know if it's the fact. I can't believe. The ED also, viewers, has a 0.5% conviction rate. So I don't know if this will end up in a conviction, if this is part of some malign opposition exercise. I don't know. I'm only giving you statistics. You can make up your mind. But I want to ask Mr. Kukarappu one question, and it's intriguing me. Fine. Mr. Sisodia quits within 2 days. But this Satyendra Jain, जो अपनी मसाज करवा रहे थे, जबरदस्त, मैं आपको शॉर्ट्स दिखाता हूं. He was in jail, getting his legs, getting his arms, getting his head, everything massaged against the laws. He has been serving. He has, I think, been in prison for about 156 days, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about a day or two. 156 days. Suddenly he also resigns. Ye kyun, sir?
By this you can understand why Sisodia ji destroyed his phones, because BJP has a habit of snooping into even the most secure jail in the country like Tihar and all.
And acknowledging
even
that there
This
is
is not BJP snooping, this is CCTV. This
No,
is,
no,
hang on,
nobody
one
is
minute.
acknowledging
even
Okay,
with
doctor,
the Pegasus.
1 second. Don't
Let's talk
speak
about
over
the
each other.
Pegasus.
Okay, one second.
Let's talk about the Pegasus.
No, 1 second,
Because
1
of this
second,
thing,
1 second.
anyone
Mr.
who is
Kukarappu,
against the
please.
central government
No,
is
1 second.
destroying their phones.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair
please.
enough. Mr. Kukarappu, 1 second, please. 1 second.
Which side
This is not BJP snooping. This is CCTV. Even Tehseen Poonawala will tell you that this gentleman, because he's a sympathizer of the Congress, okay, fair enough, but he will also say that these are CCTV visuals, it's not the BJP snooping. This is all over jail cells. This is all over jail cells. So, Mr. Fani Kakaruppu,
No,
I just want to
I'm
ask
asking
you this
about the
question.
timing of marketing the videos during the
Doesn't
Gujarat
matter,
elections.
timing, there's an election happening all the time. Fair
And
enough,
also I'm
the
talking
timing was
about
wrong.
the
But
snoop
does
case
that mean
because
that we should not
when
bring
you are
up...
when you are against an opponent who is
Okay, go ahead. Please go ahead.
who is known for this all allegation and getting into the phone calls, imagine about the Pegasus. Even the Facebook officially accepted this WhatsApp got hacked by Pegasus by almost 18,000 journalists and politicians were included in it. It happened during the Congress, JDS and BJP MLAs, and also happened with many against BJP journalists. And because of this reason, maybe many of the political leaders in India are fearing and changing the SIMs. This might be the reason. That doesn't mean they did something wrong. They
No, but
just
Mr. Sisodia has not said because of
evading the central
Pegasus.
government
Mr.
vigilance on
Sisodia
them.
is on record to say that he changed his phones not because of any of these reasons, but because fundamentally...
No, I'm just
No,
clearing the
hang
air.
on, let me finish.
Clearing the air to the audience because
Sir,
it
why
has
are you
in
speaking
mind.
for Sisodia? He has not
Please
talked
say.
about Pegasus.
Yeah,
He has
please
not
say.
said about Pegasus. He said, I'm not changing my phone because of Pegasus. He simply said that he has 3 phones and the only reason he chucked them is because that is the safest way of disposing phones. Yes, Fani Saab.
Audio's cut.
No, we can hear you. You have to respond. Mr. Sisodia is not bringing up Pegasus angle that you are bringing up. But let me come back to the question. Maybe you are not getting the question. Mr. Kukarappu ji,
I'm
why
just
has...
countering the marketing angle of BJP trying to accused as a convict.
Okay, so if he is... I'm not understanding. The man is in jail, Satyendra Jain. He is getting undue favors. He is also the jail minister, by the way. He was the jail minister till a few months ago. He was getting himself massaged. And he said it was because of some heart disease, etc., etc. Viewers, the people who are massaging him are not some angels either. There are other people also in the jail cell who is not even the massier. चलो ठीक है, आप अपने दोस्त को बोल दो, चलो यार मेरी थोड़ी मालिश कर दो. I am feeling broken. चलो ठीक है.
You are accusing
there are other
for
people.
misusing of power by where even Satyendra Jain himself got arrested by misuse of power by the central government.
Okay, I'm not understanding what you're
as a
saying.
witch
I'm
hunt,
confused,
right?
sir. Allow me. I'm very confused. Maybe I'm dumb. But let me bring in Mr. Bhandari. What is he saying?
For misuse of power, right?
Yeah, but if he's misusing power when he's in jail, why can't he misuse it outside? I can't understand. And why is he quitting after 250 days? 254, 56 days, viewers.
Rahul,
Mr.
Mr. Fani is very funny I cannot make head and tail of his argument that a person in jail caught by CCTV camera footage getting certain extraordinary benefits is to be relatable to BJP snooping on him. That is an extraordinary argument to make. But let us come to what is this case about. We have gone from the golden days of Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri resigning for an accident, which directly is not relatable to a minister, to days where somebody is in jail, somebody has been denied bail and yet sticking on as a minister 8-9 months. One of the conditions for bail is the person not be influential enough to tamper evidence or influence witness. Who is more influential in a system than a minister? So I think they were not even helping their legal cause by sticking on to this extent. But today, that rapid change after the Supreme Court decision also shows there is a lot of politics afoot, and we will come to know that in the coming days. But let us stick to the legal aspects of this. Legally, what is happening in this case is very clear, that Mr. Sisodia and the entire excise policy has been under investigation, but they did not choose to seek an anticipatory bail. They had all the right to seek it, they had all the legal counsel to seek it. Today they are mentioning it in Supreme Court. The Supreme Court did not entertain it. But when they had time, they did not seek it. Second aspect, when they went for it, the CBI got remand. So that means the CBI allegations, all of which you have documented, I don't want to repeat them, were accepted by the court, at least for the purposes of giving remand to CBI. And today they did not get relief from the Supreme Court. So at least at the stage of prima facie and at the bail stage, there are enough things for them to answer, quite apart from the actual things. Why is the note missing? That's a very serious thing. Why are the phones changed so often? What was the chat? What was the South lobby? Was monopoly being encouraged? Of course, if the wholesaler is the retailer is out of business because they will undercut them or overprice them when they're selling it to retailers. So all these reasons, of course, lead to a situation which needed to be investigated and has resulted in arrests. Now it is for Aam Aadmi Party, a party which started with the plank of anti-corruption to justify why 2 out of 7 ministers are in jail.
Okay, Tehseen Poonawalla, respond please.
So Rahul, first of all, you completely demolished this debate when you put out the statistics of 90% of the raids on people who are in opposition, and I'm part of the opposition. But what Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi did not answer, and very smartly, because he's a very good erudite spokesperson of BJP, is even in the case where we go to court and get a probe on the government, that is the BJP government represent, for example, in Vyapam, where 6 people committed suicide, there is never an investigation on Shivraj Singh Chauhan. He's thought to be protected. Let's look at some of the cases. Himanta Biswa Sharma. The BJP puts a white paper out on him. The same Himanta joins the BJP. The sword is left hanging, but there's no investigation on him. Let's look at Mukul Roy. Mukul Roy, while he's in the TMC, there's an investigation on him. Then he's in the BJP, the investigation stop, and it restarts when he's in the TMC. Same with Ajit Pawar. This is how they are misusing the investigative agencies, like you rightly said. Let me give you the data. ED has done 121 raids, 115 on the opposition, 6 on the BJP. Therefore, the conviction rate is 0.5. The CBI is no better, 124 raids, 118 on the opposition. So first, the BJP protects its people. So this is wrong. Second, as so far as Manish Sisodia is concerned, while I agree with most of the arguments Ishkar and Bhandari made, and the charges on him, or the violation of the JMD Act 1991, the Transaction of Business 1993, the Delhi Excise Act 2009, the Delhi Excise Rules 2010. What I cannot understand is Manish Sisodia was not at flight risk. You could have impounded his passport. Why is the hurry to take away liberty? If Manish Sisodia had not cooperated with the agencies, not come up when he was summoned, I can understand. This lower courts, before whose majesty I bow, taking away liberty time and again as somebody who's not at flight risk. That should not happen in our country. Everyone who's in jail is from the opposition. And what did the court say with Sanjay Raut and ED? The same arguments BJP made on Sanjay Raut. And what happened? What did the court say? Why are you taking away the liberty of people? If there is anything that the Aam Aadmi Party has done wrong, and I believe they must answer the Delhi liquor scam, you don't need to take away liberty of Manish Sisodia. This, in my mind, is mind-boggling, and courts refusing to protect liberty, I think is a very scary situation.
Okay, Ishkan Bhandari, as a lawyer, quickly respond. I want to bring in Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi on the larger points raised by Tehseen Poonawala. Okay,
Just 2 points. One is a philosophical debate on whether people should be arrested in India or not. That's the legal system in India. If we are not in US or UK where they will give you a house arrest or they will give you a locket in your house and you can stay, that's the law, applies to everybody across the state. Secondly, very interestingly, because Tehseen has raised certain points, but Congress officially is supporting the investigation. In fact, it's asking for further answers. I saw the statement by the Congress president for Delhi, who seems to be supporting that. So that is very interesting. No, just on the lighter side, Congress is seeming to be supporting this. Of course, the point on when people are in BJP, they are not being investigated needs to be answered because there were certain very serious allegations which have not gone ahead.
I want to ask one question about the 5,700 crore scam that happened by YSCP Chandrasekhar, and the BJP raised the issue. The BJP raised the issue.
Chaudhary.
Chaudhary. I stand corrected. I stand YS Chaudhary.
Okay, let me ask.
Then when he
Dr. Trivedi, this debate will come back to this debate घूम फिर के वहीं आएगी कि जी जब बीजेपी में लोग आ जाते हैं, the ones that the BJP exposes as corrupt, like Mr. Sarma, Mr. Mukul Roy, Mr. Adhikari, Suvendu Adhikari, etc. When they come to BJP, and even this YS Chaudhary, 5,700 crore, when they come back into BJP or they get absorbed by the party, these cases stop. Why?
No, I would give a clear-cut answer. First, I would like to say, changing the stance on corruption क्या होता है कि आम आदमी पार्टी कहती थी, used to say when Sheila Dikshit ji was chief minister, कि I am a bag full of proofs. And when they got the government with the support of Congress party and our then leader of opposition, Dr. Harshvardhan asked, then Kejriwal ji said, where are the proofs? Kindly provide. It happens. Now, coming to the other aspect which you have asked, कि भाई आप हमारे बारे में पूछते हैं और उनके बारे में नहीं पूछते, तो मैं पीना याद दिलाना चाहता हूं. Since 1977, when first time we formed the government in the various states and became a part of center from now onwards, in the last 45 years, can you name how many BJP leaders were indicated in any type of substantive allegation of corruption which has been accepted by the investigation and the court? Tehseen Poonawala ji was saying, I would like to remind, Vyapam was started when Congress was there at center. They demanded that there should be a High Court and subsequently Supreme Court monitored investigation. And in all those things, everything clean chit, and there was not even a single iota was put on any Madhya Pradesh leader. But even your two of the leader went to the court trying to again start the investigation and they were snubbed. These are the facts. And as far as the allegation of corruption is concerned, forget about the chota mota leader. अरे कांग्रेस में तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स के ऊपर लगा नागरावाला कांड. फर्स्ट टाइम इंदिरा जी वाज अंडर सस्पेंशन, देन बोफोर्स, राजीव गांधी जी वाज हैविंग एन एलिगेशन, देन नरसिम्हा राव became the first prime minister who after leaving the post has to appear in the court of the law on the charges of corruption. And Manmohan Singh ji, the famous case parrot on the coal scam was when the PMO officers have asked, and their top leaders are on the bail on the National Herald case.
Okay, one second.
Last 50 years, your topmost leadership, for any other leader.
Okay, but Dr. Trivedi,
put an allegation on BJP from Nagrawala to today.
Okay, but Dr. Trivedi, you still haven't answered the question. YS Chaudhary साहब जिसके खिलाफ इतना बड़ा allegation है 5,700 करोड़.
अच्छा हाँ, वो भी जो आप बात
वो आप आते हैं,
yes,
बंद हो जाता है.
I will answer that.
जी.
Those who have come to our side, those who have come to our side, they cannot name a single case which has been stopped or removed by them. Not in the like of the Congress. When on 2G scam, we demanded for JPC. Manmohan Singh ji has said he is ready to come for PSC. And those parties who have not allowed PSC report to be tabled were Samajwadi Party, BSP and DMK. And within 1 week, CBI withdraw the cases.
Sir,
you can say.
Is it not a fact? One second.
Agencies have withdrawn the case.
Okay,
the cases are going on as it is.
But sir, they are not going anywhere. They might be going on, but they are not going anywhere. There is no.
शर्मा पे कोई केस ही नहीं है, बताइए कौन सा केस है?
नहीं.
There is a difference between allegation and case.
Okay.
There is a difference between white
that is a problem because the allegation
and those
never
who are having case. Mukul Roy,
No, one
मुकुल
second.
राय एंड शुभेंदु अधिकारी,
सर,
कोई भी
अगर-
केस बताइए अगर हमने विड्रॉ किया हो,
अगर
या हमारी
investigation-
एजेंसी ने कोई रिपोर्ट लगाई हो उनके फेवर में,
अगर investigation-
Mr. Sharma raided and interrogated
like you have done in 2G cases
in Sharda scam
with Mulayam Singh, Mayawati and DMK.
as
Okay, one
Congress
second.
finance minister.
I think Dr. Muni, on that
Baaki ke
point,
cases में बोल सकता हूँ।
Dr. Trivedi Muni, Dr. Muni has a point. He's saying, obviously there is no case when the investigators just stop in their tracks. तो केस कैसे आएगा?
विश्व शर्मा के खिलाफ
डॉक्टर
रेड हुआ
त्रिवेदी।
था सर। अब भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने रेड करवाया था, सीबीआई ने रेड करवाया था, उसके बाद जैसे ही ज्वाइन किया।
देखिए, I just want to viewers, I just want to put
How?
out some facts here. I always put out the facts.
And you know,
And it's very important.
Rahul
It's very
should know it.
important. One second. It was BJP MP and spokesperson GVL Narasimha Rao who called Mr. Chaudhary and Ramesh Andhra Malias and wrote to the Rajya Sabha Ethics Committee seeking initiation of suitable action against them. These are not my words, viewers. Posting in November 28 letter, he had written to the chairman of Ethics Committee. Rao tweeted, I have complained to Ethics Committee to seek disqualification of two TDP MPs, Vyas Chaudhary and CM Ramesh, who have earned the dubious title of Andhra Malias with massive financial scandals. Sir, आज की डेट में Vyas Chaudhary is in your party. The case is not gone anywhere. Fair enough, it's not been withdrawn, but it's not gone anywhere. Why?
Rahul, can I add?
Sir, that's what I am saying. In their cases, the cases were withdrawn. The day they subverted the PSC report, within 1 week, the case is withdrawn. That's why I'm saying with conviction. Can they quote any instance in the case is withdrawn? Number two,
Okay,
the
but
report is
still-
submitted in their favor.
Okay.
Can you
Now,
quote
can I
anything?
Okay, but
and as far as
standstill-
the procedure is
Give me
going
10
on,
seconds.
तो वाड्रा के खिलाफ भी proceeding चल रही है.
Okay,
तो
okay.
आप कहते हैं कि साहब there is
Tehseen Poonawala wants to
nothing. Then
rebut
there is
it.
proceeding is going on as per the legal pace.
Okay.
बोलिए.
Tehseen Poonawala, quick rebuttal.
सुधांशु जी, लॉट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट फॉर यू, बट आपने एक फैक्चुअल गलती की। आपने कहा एक बीजेपी लीडर बताए जो इसके खिलाफ सीरियस केस था। आपके तो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष बंगारू लक्ष्मण जी कॉन्विक्ट हुए, कैमरा पे, कैंडिड कैमरा पे पैसे उठा, आपके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष। सर, दूसरी चीज सर, बड़ी हमली, वेरी हमली सर, आप मुझे बताइए कैसा जादूगरी है? मुकुल रॉय और अजीत पवार, बीजेपी और ईडी उन पे केस डालती है, फिर बीजेपी में आते कोई केस नहीं होता, फिर दोबारा से वो अपने एनसीपी या टीएमसी में चला जाता है, केस शुरू हो जाता है। ये कैसी जादूगरी है सर? इसका स्पेसिफिक उत्तर दीजिए।
Dr. Trivedi, he comes to your party, no
हाँ,
case, he
बिल्कुल
goes
explain.
back to the
On both
TMC
the
cases
cases, I would
again.
like to explain. On the issue of Bangaru Lakshman, Rahul, I would like to precisely answer. On the case of Bangaru Lakshman, my friend Tehseen Poonawala ji, can you name that in which defense deal he has been charge sheeted? Like Rajiv Gandhi's name was in Beaufort. Name the deal. That was a very
he was
peculiar
taking money
case
on
in which
camera.
there was no deal of such. But the judgment was given that is, you name a deal. I ask all my
you
opponents,
don't-
can they
Sir, you
name
don't trust
कि
the-
कौन से सौदे के लिए बंगारू लक्ष्मण पे केस हुआ था? बताइए.
Sir, he was taking
बताइए.
money on camera. He took 1 lakh
बताइए
rupees on camera,
I want an
sir.
answer.
Sir, he took
अरे
money
भाई
on
taking
camera.
money
It
for
doesn't matter.
what?
It could be a fake
For
deal.
what? बताइए
He was
ना.
taking
आपने
graft
कहा
on
defense
camera,
deal.
sir.
Name the
Sir,
deal.
how does it
Name the
matter? He
deal.
was taking money on camera,
Name
sir.
the deal.
Sir, Sarda में भी
अरे
लोग,
सर, how does it matter?
सारदा में भी,
यही तो मैं कह रहा हूं.
सारदा में भी
ये
तो
पता ही
लोग
नहीं है कि
on camera ही पैसे ले
how
रहे थे.
does
Anyhow,
it matter?
viewers,
अधिकारी-
viewers, we are going down.
अधिकारी-
One second,
I
one
would not like
second.
to go into that.
Viewers, okay,
But
let's for a
second
moment concede.
On the issue,
Okay,
on
one
the
second.
issue of others you have said.
Okay,
Again,
one
I am
second.
saying
One
we
second.
have neither stopped.
Viewers, no one today can say
आप एक
with
written report दिखा दीजिए which was in contrast in your case when
Okay.
you were in the government.
Okay,
You have
fair enough.
withdrawn,
That can't be
diluted
the most
and
convincing response. That can't be the most convincing response. There is a problem, and I think the ED and the CBI would be better served in addressing this problem rather than going into denial mode. You can't suddenly have leaders crossing floors and becoming clean, and then going back to their party and becoming corrupt again. But nonetheless, viewers, that we have discussed yesterday. The point is that there are problems, there are questions that need to be asked. There is a note that is missing, there are phones that are missing, there has been a tweak of the policy for mysterious reasons. And these are serious questions. The courts are seized of them, and it is the courts that have decided to deny Mr. Sisodia's liberty. It's not the investigative agencies. Let's also not forget that. We can't trust the courts in one matter and then suspect the courts in another. So we have to think about that. But viewers, I need to move on because there's a very, very painful story that is coming out of Bihar. On the 5th of May 2020, 20 of our bravehearts were martyred after putting up a valiant fight against the Chinese at Galwan, viewers. Hundreds of our soldiers put themselves and their lives at risk to save a few square inches, maybe kilometers of Indian soil. And they gave a very strong riposte to the Chinese. The Chinese fled back. They were also beaten and bruised. They initially denied their casualties, but then, viewers, slowly and steadily reports came out that more than 24 Chinese might have lost their lives. That number was a conservative one. Other reports, CIA reports, etc., put that number higher. Now, viewers, the Bihar regiment played a very important part of the defense of Galwan. Now, viewers, these individuals were hailed as heroes. But today, viewers, I'm going to show you a particular visual that is going to make you feel extremely upset. What we are seeing now is how the arrogance of certain politicians has overshadowed the tale of martyrdom and valor. The father of one of our Galwan martyrs, Jai Kishore Singh, was dragged and physically assaulted as he was arrested by the Bihar police. His fault, you ask? He built a memorial for his son, who laid down his life for the country. Now, viewers, he was beaten because of that. And this memorial, in fact, was inaugurated by the same politicians with great fanfare. What changed? I don't know. But the story is an extremely unfortunate one. And this is not the first time, viewers. Politicians in Bihar have been on a spree, slander spree of our forces. Just a few days ago, the forces, those Agniveers that are going to graduate, were brushed aside as Hijron ki Fauj. Imagine, viewers, you not only insulted a third gender, but also the forces. Let's go across to Major General G.D. Bakshi and Abdul Basit of the RJD. Abdul Basit Saab, how are you justifying this? Galwan martyr के पिताजी को पीटा गया है. Isn't it shameful?
देखिए गलवान की घटना से पहले मैं आपको बता दूं,
सर, आप कंडेम करते हैं या नहीं करते?
देश में 2014 के बाद
सर ये कंडेम करते हैं कि नहीं करते? बस सिंपल क्वेश्चन है मेरा, और मैं किसी में हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी में जाना ही नहीं चाहता. क्या कोई मार्टर की फैमिली के साथ ऐसा होना चाहिए?
कोई भी भारत देश का वासी है वो इसे कंडक्ट करता है.
कंडेम कर,
मैं भी पूरी तरह कंडक्ट करता हूँ.
तो फिर सर एक्शन होगा,
बड़ी चूक है.
एक्शन होगा. जनरल बख्शी, मगर क्या जनरल बख्शी? मगर, ही सेज मगर. डू यू थिंक देयर इज रूम फॉर मगर?
पहले आप मेरी बात पूरी होने दीजिए. 2014 से सुन लीजिए, 2014 से मिलिट्री के कंधों पे रखकर जो सरकार अपने आप को
सर, मैं सीधी बात कह रहा हूं आपसे, आप खुद ही कंडेम कर रहे हैं. तो
कंडेम के कंधे तो आप भूल जाइए.
यस जनरल,
बिल्कुल. मगर दिल्ली में आप आइए, मेरे साथ दिल्ली में आइए. एक दिल्ली पुलिस का हेड कांस्टेबल,
Rahul, if this gentleman can stop his
ऐसे लेके जाता है जैसे भेड़ बकरी का इस्तेमाल हो रहा हो.
tirade.
मिसयूज हो रहा है देश में.
दो सर, टू रॉन्ग्स डोंट मेक अ राइट. यू नो दिस.
बकवास कर
जनरल
रहे
बख्शी,
हैं. बात क्या किस चीज की हो रही है और आप क्या रहे हैं? Rahul, this is utterly amazing. It's hardly a week ago that two of our boys who had gone on leave were thrashed by local petty politicians, set upon and beaten. There was outrage in the nation. And now in another state, there are these politicians who seem to have the power drunk, power mad. They have chosen to beat the father.
Sir, what action should be taken, General Saab? Do you believe that these people should be sacked?
Just 2 years ago, in a clash with the Chinese.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Should they be sacked?
Sacked? I think the most stringent action should
stringent
be taken
action.
now.
Viewers, we are going to follow this story till
stop.
stringent action is taken. I'm taking a short break.
टोयोटा कैरी इसका लॉन्च हो जाएगा एंड प्राइस अनाउंसमेंट भी बहुत जल्दी इसकी टोयोटा करने वाली है। तो ये कुछ डिटेल्स हैं इस नई टोयोटा इनोवा हाई क्रॉस को लेकर, जो कि क्रिस्टा के मुकाबले वाइडर, लॉन्गर, व्हील बेस ज़्यादा है, हाइट सेम है, बट स्पेस बेटर यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रहा है। एंड देयर आल्सो बेटर सेफ्टी फीचर्स एंड फीचर्स इन दिस न्यू हाई क्रॉस। सो कैसा लगा आपको वीडियो? डू टेल अस इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। वीडियो अच्छा लगा है तो लाइक, शेयर और टाइम्स ड्राइव को फॉलो करना मत भूलिएगा। थैंक यू वॉचिंग, बाय बाय।
हाल ही में हमने ऊबर का एक इवेंट अटेंड किया था, जहां पर हमें बातचीत करने का मौका मिला सूरज नायर से, जो कि है सेफ्टी ऑपरेशंस के हेड एट ऊबर इंडिया एज वेल एज साउथ एशिया। हमने पूछे उनसे कई सवाल, आइए देखते हैं इस वीडियो में।
I think I really can't comment on public transportation in general, but what I would definitely want to say is that we as a platform are trying to be as safe for women riders as possible. In fact, very recently, we hit the milestone of training more than 100,000 drivers on the platform for gender sensitization. In fact, as the number stands right now, we have trained more than 130,000 drivers on the platform, especially on gender sensitization. So, I mean, we from time to time obviously work on such initiatives which are industry first, which make sure that women experience a safe ride on the platform. I think we definitely want to encourage more and more women drivers on the platform. In fact, in the US, we recently launched a product called Women Rider Preferred, wherein our women drivers will get the option to be paired only with women riders. And that's something which we believe is going to be very empowering for our women drivers to feel safe on the platform, especially if they're taking, let's say, nighttime trips, etc. So that's something which we are evaluating for our market, and which we would definitely want to see if we can launch it here for India. And yeah, we are partnering with multiple organizations to get more and more women drivers on the platform, and something which we constantly endeavor towards. Yeah, gender sensitization is not just about drivers being sensitized towards women riders, but it's also about sensitizing drivers against sensitizing our drivers for all genders. So that is something which we will definitely work towards and get done. It's a very interesting idea and something which we have ourselves discussed and deliberated quite a lot. I think the challenge here would be to have a service which is very reliable, because the last thing that you would want is someone trying to book a pink cab but then not having vehicles available, right? So that's going to be a challenge that we are going to solve. Again, it's not an easy challenge because the number of women drivers is on the platform.
Also wanted to create mass market products and
really low, and in general also commercial women drivers, the numbers are fairly low. So it's going to be challenging for us to do that at this point. But what we are doing is that we are partnering with organizations, NGOs, to increase the participation of women in the commercial driving space. And once we feel that we have critical mass, we can definitely think of launching something like that.
थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो। कोई सवाल अगर आपका इनमें से आपको पूछने का दिल था और हमने जवाब दे दिया तो लिख के बताइए। कोई सवाल जो आपका है और आपको लगता है हम जवाब दे सकते हैं तो उस सवाल को भी कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखिए। बाकी ऐसे और वीडियोस देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब टू गैजेट टाइम्स।
जिस उम्र में उन्हें स्टिक पकड़ना चाहिए उसी उम्र में हमारी दादी माँ किताबें पढ़ती है।
आजीबाईच्या शाळेमध्ये आल्यापासून माझं आयुष्य बदलूनच गेलं आणि मला खूप आनंद वाटायला लागला। मलाच नाही तर सगळ्या आज्यांना आनंद वाटायला लागला।
मेरा नाम योगेंद्र शांताराम बांगर है और मैं प्राइमरी टीचर का काम करता हूँ। यह जो आजीबाई शाला जो है यह स्कूल दुनिया का पहला स्कूल है और सभी स्कूल से अलग है। आप देखते हैं कि बच्चों के लिए स्कूल होता है, युवाओं के लिए स्कूल होता है
और कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग डिजाइन आपको फ्रेम्स पर भी दिखेगा। जो कलर आपको यहाँ कैमरा मॉड्यूल पर दिख रहा है, पीछे ये जो पैच पर दिख रहा है, वही आपको उसी कलर का फ्रेम दिखाई देगा विद येलो एक्सेंट्स। वेट की बात करें तो अच्छा है, लाइट वेट है और यहाँ पे जो येलो है दिस इज लिटिल बिट डल, नॉट एज वाइब्रेंट एज द बॉक्स।
Aam Aadmi Party is undergoing capital turmoil. Two of the closest generals of Arvind Kejriwal have stepped down from their monthly post. Accused number one in Liquorgate and currently in the line of fire of the CBI, Manish Sisodia stepped down from key portfolios and submitted his resignation to Arvind Kejriwal. He's been in CBI custody since February 26th and has been given a supreme snub by the top court. The Supreme Court refused to intervene in the matter and asked Sisodia to approach the High Court instead of rushing to the apex court every time. Leaving nothing to interpretation, the Supreme Court also asked why should it entertain the bail plea, and if it does, it will set a wrong precedent. In his resignation letter to Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia flaunted his Krishna Bhakti to make a statement that honesty is true devotion to the Hindu deity and he has always abided by it. He's maintained that the charges against him are false and that he is an honest politician. He's also asserted that he's not scared of going to jail. Manish Sisodia is not the only one in jail for the past 253 days. Satyendra Jain, accused of money laundering too, has stepped down from his post. Jain faces serious charges of hawala transactions and using illegal money to purchase agricultural land. However, the Aam Aadmi Party has been vehemently defending its Kattar Imandars, from likening his ministers to Bhagat Singh to demanding Bharat Ratna. Kejriwal never left a chance to give a clean sheet to his lieutenants. Listen in to what was said in the past by Arvind Kejriwal.
ऐसे व्यक्ति को तो भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए। मनीष सिसोदिया को गलत तरीके से सताया जा रहा है। उनको अब 3-4 दिन में इनको गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे। गिरफ्तार, 1 मिनट, गिरफ्तार करने का क्या नतीजा होगा? 3 महीने 4 महीने तक शिक्षा व्यवस्था सफर करेगी। किसके फायदे में है ये? पूरा केस फर्जी है। किसको फायदा होगा? हम काम रुकने नहीं देंगे, लेकिन थोड़े दिन के लिए बाधा तो पहुंचेगी।
मैंने सत्येंद्र जैन के सारे कागज खुद देखे हैं। पढ़ा लिखा आदमी हूं, कानून की भी बहुत समझ है। इनके ऊपर लगाए गए सारे आरोप फर्जी हैं। पूरा का पूरा मामला फर्जी है। केवल राजनीति की वजह से उन्हें गिरफ्तार किया गया। अगर उनके मामले में 1% की भी सच्चाई होती तो मैं खुद ही कब का उनके खिलाफ सख्त एक्शन ले चुका होता। सत्येंद्र जैन देशभक्त है, कट्टर ईमानदार है, बेहद साहसी है। ऐसी जेलें उनके साहस और जज्बे को और मजबूत करेंगी।
The BJP, however, says that walls are closing in on Kejriwal and the day is not far when the Chief Minister himself will join his jailed mantris. The AAP says that the vendetta will not stop the good work of Kejriwal. Listen into the war of words.
We have just learned that Mr. Manish Sisodia has resigned and so has Mr. Satyendra Jain, and to our great surprise, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has also accepted the resignation of Mr. Satyendra Jain after 9 months. If Mr. Manish Sisodia had any moral compass left, being the disciple of Anna Hazare movement, he ought to have resigned on the day this scandalous allegations came to light. The whole conduct of Aam Aadmi Party is typified by 3C: cut, commission and corruption.
उनका काम किसी प्रकार से रुकना नहीं चाहिए, बाधित नहीं होना चाहिए। इस कारण से दोनों मंत्रियों का, आदरणीय मनीष सिसोदिया जी का और सत्येंद्र जैन जी का इस्तीफा लिया गया है, उसको मुख्यमंत्री जी ने स्वीकार कर लिया है। इन दोनों मंत्रियों के ऊपर लगे हुए आरोप का सवाल है, ये आरोप पूरी तरीके से बेबुनियाद है, फर्जी है। कैसे एक सरकार को, कैसे आम आदमी पार्टी की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता से, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की बढ़ती हुई लोकप्रियता से घबरा कर और परेशान होकर आज बीजेपी और मोदी सरकार उत्पीड़न की कार्रवाई कर रही है।
Go the smoking gun that many have ignored. The investigators believe that the liquor policy was tweaked to benefit certain liquor barons who got licenses to sell in Delhi. The liquor licenses were given to wholesalers despite the expert committee stating that liquor companies that manufacture as a wholesaler should not be given a liquor license to retail in any zone. The main beneficiaries were Indo Spirits and Enrica Enterprises. The other clincher is a tale of the missing cabinet note. Now, CBI sources have told Times Now that the expert panel had red-flagged irregularities after it availed legal opinion. The report was sent to Sisodia, but strangely, the cabinet note didn't include the legal opinion. That was not in favor of the excise minister's policy. This brings me to my legitimate question this evening. Are these scams plunging up into turmoil?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Take this across to our guest. Joining us is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, is with us. Also joining us on the panel is Umesh Sehgal, former Chief Secretary of Delhi. Also with us is Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Huda Zariwala is a political analyst. Joining us, Khaliqur Rahman is a leader of the BRS, and advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst, joining us on the panel. Let me start with you first and foremost, Ravi Srivastava. There are several questions. There are several questions that come out of this entire investigation. From a missing cabinet note to questions as far as these resignations are concerned. In fact, of one of the ministers, at least, Mr. Satyendra Jain, BJP says the resignation is happening 9 months too late. What has changed? Because just a few days ago, we heard Arvind Kejriwal saying that Manish Sisodia deserves a Bharat Ratna. What happened?
I think Arvind Kejriwal, whatever has said, he said it right. There is no doubt about it. All these charges are in the realm of speculation. Nothing has been proved yet. It is only a remand. It will last for 3-4 days, and then a regular bail will be applied. And as far as resignations are concerned, these are just given to smoothen the inquiry process so that there is no interference in that. And the agencies are free to do the investigation. But the fact is, the charges are bogus, fabricated, concocted, will not stand the scrutiny of the law. It's a fact. And my question here is, if tomorrow, like 2G, like Bofors, like several other cases where nobody could be convicted till date, the same fate will be to this particular case as well.
No, but what about the tweak in the policy, sir, to allow for wholesalers into select retail zones? If that was not allowed by the expert committee, why did the government change that policy? And even the margin being changed from 5% to 12%. Now, these are very, very serious charges which have caused not just loss to the exchequer, but also raised serious questions about the manner in which these tweaks to the policy were done.
These are all perceptions. These are all allegations. These have not met the judicial scrutiny yet. When it goes before the honorable judge, then only it will be decided that how far these are correct. We have got several things. That 30 crore was taken, the 240 crore was refunded, the commission was raised from this to that level. Why all these things were approved by the honorable LG only, who was appointed by the BJP. And the same BJP appointed LG makes a complaint against it.
Okay.
So this is to be seen that who is doing all this. This is nothing but the BJP who is doing all this. You say the documents have been, evidences have been destroyed. All evidences were taken by the CBI. How can Manish Sisodia destroy that? He is not at a flight risk anywhere. He is a constitutional post deputy chief minister. Where will he go? Where is the need for
Incidentally, what the CBI has said, sir, is very clear that they did recover one of the files. They retrieved one of the files which was allegedly deleted from Mr. Manish Sisodia's computer, which was seized in January this year. But anyway, be that as it may, you have made certain points. And before I go across to Mr. Arima Sundaram, Senior Advocate, and Umesh Sehgal, former Chief Secretary, who would be able to give us more of that legal perspective, particularly when it comes to matters of governance, I want Sanju Verma to respond to the two charges that have been made politically. It's BJP that's doing everything, Sanju Verma. And one important point, but one point I will concede, is a question that Mr. Ravi Srivastav has asked, which was also used incidentally in the Rouse Avenue court yesterday by the lawyers of Manish Sisodia, because they say it is the LG who signed off on this policy. The LG suggested certain changes, and if that was incorporated, how can the blame be put solely at the doorstep of the AAP government or the Kejriwal government? Your response, Sanju Verma.
You know, Madhav, let's be very clear, without any ifs or buts whatsoever. The fact of the matter is that the LG initiated an inquiry into the erstwhile fraudulent excise policy at the behest of the Chief Secretary of Delhi, Mr. Naresh Kumar. Point number one. Point number two, if you read the GMCTD Act of 1991, which talks about the division of powers between the Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal in this case, and the Lieutenant Governor, Mr. V.K. Saxena in this case, the GMCTD Act clearly says that the Lieutenant Governor primarily has responsibility for land, police, and public order, as in law and order. So when it comes to excise policy, the LG has nothing to do with it in terms of how an excise policy is implemented. But if the Chief Secretary initiates an inquiry through the LG has every right to put forth the case to the CBI, which is what was done in this case. Now the most important point, you know, I have been seeing on your channel over the last 48 hours odd that one of the key persons who was earlier a confidant of Manish Sisodia and has since turned an approver, he has categorically said that he handed over checks to Manish Sisodia. He has also claimed that money was fraudulently used for assembly elections in some states. And not only this, I have one question to ask. Repeatedly, Manish Sisodia was asked that the normal process is that if an L1 license bidder does not get the L1 license, the earnest money that he has deposited with the government, the Kejriwal government in this case, that earnest money is to be forfeited by the bidder. In this case, on what grounds did Manish Sisodia refund the earnest money of over 40 crores to the likes of Samir Mahendu, who owns Indo-Spirit Group? Also, the most important thing, Manish Sisodia's ex-personal assistant, who has been a privy to many fraud. I will finish in 10 seconds. Please, Mr. Srivastav, I did not heckle you. Let me finish. Mr. Manish Sisodia's ex-confidant and personal secretary, C. Arvind, has clearly said that when the commission was increased from 5% to 12%,
one at a time, please. One at a time, yeah. Mr. Ravi Srivastav, there's plenty of time. There are a lot of panelists. Please, one by one. One by one. I don't want anyone shouting over each other. Yes. Make a complete your point. Sanju Verma, I'm coming to Ravi Srivastav. Please hold on. Please hold on. Please hold on. You can rebut her. You can rebut her. Let her make a point. Complete your point, Sanju Verma. Quickly.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhav. The most important point in this case is that C. Arvind, till about few weeks back, Arvind Kejriwal, Satyendra Jain, Manish Sisodia, Gopal Rai, they used to say C. Arvind's word is the gospel of truth. Today C. Arvind has also turned hostile and said that the GOM note in which the commission was increased from 5 to 12%, that was not circulated. There was no discussion of the GOM note.
Okay.
Surreptitiously, commission was raised from 5 to 12%.
Yes.
And out of the 12%,
and where is the cabinet note?
Commission was paid.
And where is the cabinet note? That missing cabinet note where that legal opinion was not given is also very material to this investigation, is it not, Ravi Srivastav? Because the investigators are saying that there was a cabinet note, but this legal opinion was not included in that. So on what basis was this decision taken is still not clear.
Madhav, the onus of proving all these things is on the prosecution. It's not
I will just answer that in 20 seconds, Madhav.
Hey, 1 minute. Can I allow you to finish now?
Yeah, Ravi Srivastava.
ED's case, the onus is on the person who is alleged. In CBI, the onus is on the CBI. The CBI has to produce it. What was the deal for last 8 months?
May I respond to that, Mother? Can I just take 10 seconds to respond to that? That's a very important point.
CBI has taken very long. CBI has taken 8 months, 10 months. What were they doing? That's a question from Ravi Srivastava. Why have they taken so long?
Let me tell you, the CBI has taken the time that it would normally take to follow the due process of law. The inquiry was initiated in July 2022. The charge sheet was filed somewhere in September, October 2022.
Okay.
And the CBI first under section 306 of the CRPC asked the Delhi High Court, can Dinesh Arora be made into an approver?
Okay.
The Delhi High Court said.
Okay, Sanju Verma and Ravi Srivastava, I'm going to ask you both to hold on to your thoughts. There are several other of our panelists who have not yet spoken. I want to just understand this one by one, just to put it in perspective. Let me also bring in Mr. Umesh Sehgal, who's a former Chief Secretary of Delhi. Mr. Umesh Sehgal, it's all very well to say that this has not received judicial scrutiny, but the charges are extremely grave and extremely serious, because here you're talking about a policy tweak that allegedly benefited certain private individuals, where the allegation is that money apparently exchanged hands. Of course, all this will have to ultimately be proved by the CBI. Nobody is discounting that fact, but these are very, very serious charges. And the nature of the manner in which the expert committee's advice has been ignored on at least 2 counts that we know. One is of the kind of persons who can actually bid for the retail licenses, and also the manner in which the entire process is actually being handled. All of this raises some serious questions. Mr. Sehgal.
Well, the matter is so serious, the issue is so serious that the excise commissioner and another officer of the excise department were immediately suspended by the central government. So it is not to say that there is nothing. The matter was serious even before the investigation started. As soon as the report came, and Lieutenant Governor then recommended the suspension of these 2 officers. Now ministers cannot be suspended. So ministers have to be charge sheeted. There have to be criminal cases against them. That is why the CBI has been investigating the cases, and they have filed 1 charge sheet. Now, depending on the interrogation of Mr. Sisodiya, they will decide whether a second charge sheet is to be filed or not. If a second charge sheet is not filed, the matter will end. The case against Sisodiya can then only be raised by the court. Otherwise, the matter is over. If they do file a charge sheet, again the matter is before the court, and it is up to them to take cognizance of the case or not. There is no doubt that all these have to be proved by the CBI. And the point is, there is a presumption in law. Something is called a presumption in law and a presumption in fact. So if it is my document in my custody, and if it is missing, how is the onus on the CBI to prove and to produce that document, because it was my document in my custody. So the onus on me is to prove that document. So I'm not going into the legal issues, because you have a senior counsel here. He is going to the legal issues. Now the argument that the LG has approved, so any irregularity can be should actually be passed on to the LG. It is ridiculous. I mean, it is not understandable, because Chief Minister has also approved. The file has also gone through him. So the Chief Minister, by the same logic, he should also be arrested, or he should also be held responsible. No, unless you have positive evidence of misdoing, because these are criminal investigations now going on. These are not civil investigations. These are not departmental cases. These are criminal cases. So you need a higher level of evidence to prove, not preponderance of probability, but the burden beyond reasonable doubt. So the CBI has taken time. They are going to now collect evidence. Prima facie, at the first instance, the court has been convinced that they have been able to collect enough evidence, and they have been prevented.
Let me bring in Huda Zariwala on that point. Huda Zariwala, questions that are being raised where Mr. Ravi Srivastava insists that the onus is on the prosecution. What about the files that were allegedly in the custody of Mr. Manish Sisodia? He also has to prove what exactly happened on the basis of which these decisions were taken. And it's wrong for you to blame the LG for every decision, because by that yardstick, even the Chief Minister would have to owe up responsibility, says the learned former Chief Secretary of Delhi. Please respond to these 2 points.
Good evening, Madhavji. Honestly, at this point in time,
questions revolving around, the entire case going against Manish Sisodia ji and Dr. Satendra Jain. Let me, you have very senior panelists on the show. I will definitely answer your question, but there's one thing that I'd like to ask from your channel, from the people, not just of Delhi, but all of India. When are we going to see a time when the ministers, right from Modi ji to the Home Minister Amit Shah ji to the likes of all the people of BJP who have been blatantly involved in corruption, be called at task? When will they be submitting their resignation letters? At least Aam Aadmi Party, in good faith. Aam Aadmi Party in good faith. Allow me to, Sanju ji, allow me to answer. Sanju Verma, allow me to answer. Allow me to answer. I did not heckle. Do not heckle me. I will not be heckled like this. Do not
One at a time. One at a time. Let me just come in here. Ladies, let me just come in here. Huda Zariwala, 1 second. I'm just going to request you, Huda Zariwala. 1 second. Throwing mark at each other, you can do it if you want. I mean, that's your prerogative. Everybody has the freedom to say what they want to. But I'm asking you certain specifics about the Delhi excise scam. Yes, if you have certain questions in relation to the excise scam about the wrongdoing of the BJP, please by all means put them forward to Sanju Verma and ask them. But don't make a general comment that when will people in the BJP resign. Say why. Why do you believe they should? What is the wrongdoing on their part that you are specifically alleging? And back it up with facts, please.
Okay, let me answer. Exactly. Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question at hand. Aam Aadmi Party has been known time immemorial for only serving the people. The fact that these resignation letters were submitted only goes on to show how Aam Aadmi Party is actually concerned for the Janata of Delhi. I mean, at this point in time, the work of the Janata of Delhi should not suffer, which is why precisely these resignation letters have been submitted. God. There are no criminal charges against
this
either.
Is so proven
against either of the two ministers.
Manish
so at this point,
has been remanded
at
to
this
custody.
Point, it is only the BJP heckling, it is only the BJP troubling the Aam Aadmi Party at the behest of BJP. CBI is acting. There are no charges proven
Huda Zariwala.
Time and again, there are no charges proven against.
Huda Zariwala, if I can just come in. There are several points that you've not answered. You've not answered the questions that I've posed to you. And if this was the yardstick, then certainly 9 months ago when Mr. Satendra Jain was put in jail, that also hindered governance because you ended up in a position where Manish Sisodia is handling 18 portfolios. Is that a symbol of good governance? I don't know. And I certainly, of course, will leave that answer open to our viewers. But let me quickly bring in some of our other panelists on this. Arima Sundaram, the political fight apart, there is a political slugfest that is currently underway. But this raises a lot of serious questions. Because the CBI says that it has evidence. It has evidence in the form of computers. It has evidence in the form of what is publicly available in form of the experts committee advice where the policy was tweaked. And as per the CBI, there is wrongdoing because the tweaking of that policy happened A, to benefit certain private individuals, and B, it happened in a manner which was, completely in violation of government procedure. Arima Sundaram.
Look, I think people have to take this in perspective when you're dealing with policy matters. You have policies. A policy could be faulty. It could be faulty, it could be a bad policy, it could be a policy which ought not to have been followed, it could have been a policy which had some procedural irregularities in arriving at the policy. Now that is one kind of policy. You have another kind of policy which you find is either so arbitrary, is so procedurally irregular, which creates a strong feeling that this policy was actuated by other than just the need to formulate a policy. It was actuated by some kind of malefice, and that is the feeling which arises. Now, if I take you to the 2G case, the courts seemed to feel that the policy fell in the second sector. That is, that it seemed to be a policy so faulty, seemed to be twisted to help some people, and seemed to be a policy with an oblique motive. This is what the courts felt. But that is so far as the policy is concerned. There is a third limb to it. And that third limb to it is, all right, if a policy was so twisted that the intention was obliquely to support some people, to help some people, to do something which is underhand or illegal, which was the feeling of the Supreme Court when they struck down the 2G's policy. The third aspect is, was that culpability established and proved that yes, even if the policy gave signs that it was an oblique policy, was there actually illegalities committed which fell foul of the Indian statutes, the Corruption Act, the Prevention of Corruption Act, the Indian Penal Code, etc. Now that is where, in the 2G case, that was not established, the third limb, to show the actual criminality behind the policy. Today where we stand, I think, is that at least from a public perception of it, the policy, the liquor policy, definitely seems to fall in that category too of what I said the 2G scam was all about, that 2G policy was all about. It seems to fall in that category where there seem to be very, very serious questions, raising very serious questions also. There seem to be very strong feelings that there could have been oblique and unwanted conduct which went about bringing this up, which is why the CBI is investigating to see whether the third limb is being made out. That is to say, whether there is actually this perception, the evidence which seems to be pointing out at some underhand dealings, at some oblique dealings. The CBI is investigating and finding out whether people were really involved in such dealings, which gives rise to the criminality. So far as Manish Sisodia and others are concerned, it's at a fledgling stage. Today, there is a stage where he's undergoing custodial interrogation, which usually happens when there is a strong feeling of the investigative authority that a person is involved in an illegality and required to get information out of him, which he is not giving, and therefore custodial investigation is asked for, and this case it has been given. As to what is going to be the outcome of that, the evidence that is going to be unearthed, to show whether that third limb of the culpability is actually made out, is what we are waiting for and what we'll see.
Well, in fact, several allegations.
There is a very strong feeling that the second limb is made out, that the policy is certainly something which is very, very questionable and gives rise to all kinds of speculation.
Absolutely, because you know the allegations that have been made by various agencies, the ED and the CBI have both been probing it. A waiver of 144.36 crores given to the liquor cartel on license fee with the excuse of COVID-19. 100 crores received by Vijay Nair from the South Group allegedly for tweaking the excise policy. These are 2 points that have also been mentioned. And on that note, I want to go across to BRS. I will come to you, Anand, as well as Kapil, in just a moment. Let me quickly bring in Mr. Khaliqur Rahman on this point. Khaliqur Rahman, the allegation being made here is very serious, because an allegation is being made of 100 crores being received by Mr. Vijay Nair from the so-called South Group, which includes Mr. Boinpalli allegedly and several others, and that money being used even for certain state elections. This is a very, very serious charge, but the agencies claim that they have the evidence for it.
These are
all right, I apologize for the poor quality of that connection, Mr. Khaliqur Rahman. We'll just try and reconnect with you, but this is a very, very serious aspect of this investigation as well. Before I come across to Anand Raghunathan, in fact, all right, Anand Raghunathan, I want you to come in on this, because you know these are very serious charges. And the third leg, which Mr. Arima Sundaram was talking about, which at this point of time is only in the, you know, we can only take at face value what the CBI is saying. It will have to ultimately prove this in court, and we don't know what the investigation further will reveal as far as this aspect is concerned. But this is a very, very serious aspect. If the CBI does manage to prove this, then the third leg, which in fact Mr. Arima Sundaram was talking about, would perhaps be there for all to see in terms of what really was the actual meaning or the actual gain of this entire tweak of the policy.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. As usual, Mr. Sundaram has made some brilliant points, and listening to them, I'm sure Mr. Sisodia, if he isn't listening to this program, must be lamenting that the investigations on him are being carried out by CBI and not the ED, because the ED conviction rate is 0.5%, whereas the CBI's conviction rate is 70%. But be that as it may, there is a lot of political tu-tu-meh-meh. The BJP and the AAP and the Congress are at loggerheads trying to say that, oh, you are guilty, you are innocent. But unfortunately, it makes the viewer none the wiser. So let me paint a picture for you. I think it'll really help us, all of us, as well as the viewers. Let me take all of us back to 2011. I'm just painting a picture. The year is 2011. Arvind Kejriwal is in charge of India against corruption. The Congress government at Delhi is led by Ms. Sheila Dikshit. So in 2011, let us say if the Sheila Dikshit government formulated an excise policy, that it suddenly reversed. The investigations then found out that there was prima facie violations of the GNCDD Act 1991, violations of Transaction of Business Rules 1993, violations of Delhi Excise Act 2009, and violations of Delhi Excise Rule 2010. The investigations found out there was financial quid pro quo at the top political level, wherein Sheila Dikshit took major decisions in violation of the statutory provisions. The investigations were also found out that, quote, deliberate and gross procedural lapses were taking place to provide post-tender undue benefits to liquor licensees. The investigations found out that the excise department gave a waiver of rupees 144.36 crores to the licensees on the tendered license fee in gross violation of Rule 4811B of the Delhi Excise Rules 2010. Also, the excise department revised the formula of calculation of rates of foreign liquor without approval of the competent authority. Also, 100 crores were received by Sheila Dikshit's closest aide from the liquor barons to tweak the policy. And finally, Sheila Dikshit's closest aide had turned an approver. These are 9 facts that, let us assume, happened in 2011. The question I asked to Mr. Ravi, who had formulated Aam Aadmi Party, and to Ms. Huda, is Arvind Kejriwal being in charge of India against corruption and seeing all these things happen in the Sheila Dikshit government, what would he have said? Waving that flag. Would he have said that Sheila Dikshit is innocent? Would he have asked for the resignation of Sheila Dikshit? I'll tell you what he would have said. He would have said exactly what he and Sisodia said and tweeted, without an iota of judicial evidence or conviction against Sheila Dikshit. You know what they called her? They called her Dalal. So I asked these two AAP spokespersons, would Kejriwal have labeled Sheila Dikshit Dalal, assuming all these prima facie evidences or not? Answer, yes or no.
Okay, I'm going to quickly allow Ravi to comment on that. Ravi, direct question for you. Direct question before I come across to others. Yes, Kapil, I see your hand. I see the hand of Khaliqur Rahman as well. Quick response, Ravi Srivastava.
Entire statement of yours, Anand Ranganathan, is hypothetical. And hypothetical questions cannot...
No. Ravi Srivastava, he has a very pertinent question, because for much less that has come out in the public domain, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is out there. He has asked for resignation of ministers when he was out of power. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget the India against corruption days, sir. It seems that there is selective amnesia going on over here. Let's not. I think this is a very pertinent point that he has raised. The panelist has made a pertinent point. You can't skirt the question, please.
He was an activist. He was not a chief minister, he was not a politician that time.
So he can make any charge he wants.
As an activist, you don't have...
Mr. Ravi Srivastava, surely you can't have double standards like these on national television. What are you saying, sir? What are you saying, sir? On national television, please. Please, he was not a chief minister, so he could say whatever he wanted to. Come on. Let's not insult the intelligence of our viewers. Please let us not. Please let's not do that. At least, at the very least, for a person who came to power riding on coattails of alleged corruption of others, at least he should hold himself to a higher virtue and a higher standard. That is the very least that people will expect of him. But nevertheless, I want Kapil to respond to that. Kapil, does that argument make any sense to you? Mr. Kejriwal was not the chief minister then.
Madhav, I think, Anand has, very elaborately have mentioned what exactly, the AAP could have done if, it was a different party who has, done or who were facing this kind of allegation. Now, let me first, answer the political rhetoric which AAP now uses. Now, AAP is basically, creating a narrative that, they are being the political opponent of the BJP, and therefore they are being victimized because they are, so-called serving the government of the people of Delhi. Now, let me just, give you a legal perspective, and I would, add to what Mr. Sundaram said. Now, Mr. Sundaram has said what exactly has happened. Now, we've been seeing statement by, Mr. Kejriwal, by Mr. Manish Sisodia from the past 6-7 months, and they were showing an apprehension that there could be a possibility where, Mr. Sisodia could have been arrested. When you knew that this is coming, and when you knew that, there is no evidence against you, and it is just a, political vendetta against you, you had ample amount of time. You could have, sought an anticipatory bail, or you could have, availed your legal remedies. The fact remains, you have not done anything. And in fact, now today also, rather than proving their defense, whatever they have, by filing, a proper bail application before the trial court, or objecting to the remand that was sought today, what you did, again, you tried to create a narrative, and you straight away went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court very rightly rejected. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you are saying that you being politically, there's a political vendetta that has been unleashed, you go and prove before the court, prove that there is no allegation, prove that, all this is malafide, prove that, there is no case against you, prove that, your custodial investigation is not required. And let me give you another, very interesting aspect of it. Now, Mr. Sundaram is here. For securing a bail, one needs to prove to the court that there are no chances that you can influence the investigation. Now, Mr. Kejriwal makes a statement on Twitter, and he says that he's been informed by CBI officers that CBI officers were not really interested in, arresting Sisodia. Who's in touch with CBI officers? Why CBI officers are speaking with
Is that not influencing the investigation? Is that not influencing the investigation?
Yes. To my understanding.
Huda Zariwala. Isn't that influencing the investigation?
And I would like to have Mr. R.M. Sundaram's view, because
Yes.
he argues these kind of cases every day in the Supreme Court.
I want Huda to quickly respond to that before I go across to Mr. Sundaram. Huda Zariwala.
May I answer? Okay. Just the fact that Aam Aadmi Party is doing everything in its power and jurisdiction to actually, serve the people of Delhi. The fact that the work of the people of Delhi doesn't suffer is the reason why these resignations have taken place. So, do you not understand the clear malified intention of the BJP, the clear political vendetta in this case?
No,
and
but why aren't you following procedure? Supreme Court threw out your petition today. You should have gone to the High Court. You should have proved what is the evidence of his innocence. These are the questions that Kapil Madan is raising. Please answer those questions. You're just talking about the work that Aam Aadmi Party did. What is the evidence of his innocence? Where are the papers that prove that he is not guilty? Bring out the document trail, madam. Who's stopping the Aam Aadmi Party from doing that?
He is guilty. Where is that? Okay, where are the documents that proves that he is in fact guilty? Are they documents proven so far? Even against Dr. Satendra Jain, he may be in jail, but where is he actually alleged? These are just he said, she said allegations. Isne wo keh diya, this particular person turned into somebody who is speaking against Arvind Kejriwal.
Sure, nobody is denying the judicial scrutiny is left. Nobody denies the judicial scrutiny is left, madam. But let me bring in Arima Sundaram. Is it just he said, she said at this point, Mr. Arima Sundaram? Because, Huda Zariwala would have us believe that these are not serious charges, that this is just allegations. It's not worth responding to, perhaps, in the form of documents.
Well, if they're not serious allegations, I'm sure that any court that he approaches for the purpose of bail or even quashing, if they were not serious, then he should see that they're quashed. But so long as these charges are there, I think at this juncture, what Mr. Sisodia needs to do, if he feels that he is not involved in this at all, is A, to apply for bail, and B, go to the High Court and say, please quash it because there's nothing against me. Now, to say at this juncture that there is absolutely nothing, I don't think is that easy. But I will say that at this stage, what the CBI is saying is, they have enough material to ask for a custodial interrogation. When is a person not given bail? Number one, when you require him for custodial interrogation because your investigation is very much afoot and you're looking into various aspects and you require his interrogation in custody to assist that investigation. Second, your investigation is afoot, and it is a possibility if that person is not in custody, he could in some way hamper that investigation, either with witnesses or with documents or otherwise. And of course, the third is escaping completely from jurisdiction, which I don't think anyone is bothered here. I think here CBI is really saying that we need at least 5 days, because we have a lot of leads. We want to find out where these leads are going to lead us. We need custodial investigation. Equally, the nature of the investigation is such that his immediate release on bail is likely to affect our investigation and hamper our investigation.
All right.
This will possibly be the two grounds on which the CBI will to continue having him in custody.
All right, let me quickly go across to Khaliqur Rahman. So I'm sorry to interrupt you because we're almost out of time. I want to quickly bring in the BRS spokesperson, Khaliqur Rahman, who we were trying to connect to earlier and who couldn't speak to. Khaliqur Rahman, there are very serious charges as per what the CBI is saying. They are just allegations at this point of time, perhaps, but certainly they point towards the role of the BRS and certain leaders who have been named. They've been interrogated in the past, including your own party's leader, and apparently facilitating certain companies which actually benefited, including the company of Mr. Raghav Reddy and others, including Samir Mahindru. And that was as per the recommendations of certain leaders who met at a 5-star hotel in the national capital. So it does appear that there is also some serious questions that your party's leaders would have to answer through the course of the investigation in coming days.
Let me tell you, because all these questions, in fact, have already been given to CBI. And why CBI is not making it to the public? Let CBI make it to the public. Let it come into the public domain. So that why, and apart from that, Dinesh Arora, who turned into an approver, and the CBI is trying to rely on the statement given by Dinesh Arora, who CBI has made himself as an approval. How can CBI, just first made him an accused, and later on, just because he to free himself from all this, he was made an approval, and he was actually given a free hand by CBI.
Okay.
So this is something I think, it is a vicious circle. And let me tell you, because of this heat, what I see is to divert the attention of the country from Adani's.
Okay.
This is what
all being done. All being done to divert attention. Yes, Anand Ragnathan wants to intervene. Yes, Sanju, I see your hand going up. I'm going to give Anand a chance to rebut that. Yes.
Madhav, very quickly, I have just dug out this tweet of Mr. Manish Sisodia. He hasn't yet deleted it. It's from 2013, and I'm just quoting him verbatim. बिजली कंपनियों की दलाली कर बिजली महंगी करने वाली शीला दीक्षित को चोर कहने के मुकदमे में अरविंद केजरीवाल की सुनवाई और मेरी जमानत नहीं लेंगे. He is calling Sheila Dikshit doing dalali of Bijli Companiya. This is the same person who is accusing a chief minister of dalali without any shred of evidence. And just 10 seconds, I want to respond to Ms. Huda, who's a very good friend. She talked about how Arvind Kejriwal apportions responsibility. It's a teamwork. Can she please explain? If AAP has so many good leaders, no dearth of good leaders, how on earth is one person, Manish Sisodia, handling 18 ministries? 18! Is he a mythological figure that has 20 heads and 20 arms?
Huda Zariwala. Another related question to the governance, madam, is that the GOM, which had 3 ministers, the GOM had 3 ministers. 2 of them are behind bars. No puns intended.
18 ministries.
Okay. So I would like to respond to that by a small, yes, and please allow me to respond. I mean, how is Modi ji privatizing right from everything, from SAIL, GAIL, BHAIL, LIC, everything? I mean, the entire Modi-Adani nexus. I mean, can we please ask questions on that as well? My answer to your question is the question itself, which is, how is Modi ji?
You're not answering his question. He asked you a fair question.
How is Modi ji everywhere? I mean, the instant.
He's asked you a simple question about the 18 portfolios. That's a simple question.
Well, Modi ji happens to run entire BJP, entire central ministries. I mean, practically, I mean, he's privatizing everything, right from ports
to, doesn't seem like we're going to get any...
to LIC taxi, to
Okay,
bail, to
all
bail,
right.
to sail, to rail.
All
I mean,
right,
come
shifting
on.
the
Come on.
goalpost.
Then
Offense is the best form of defense. Those are perhaps the only lines that come to my mind at this point of time. But we're completely out of time. I'll have to leave it there for the moment. Sanju Verma, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Arima Sundaram, Umesh Sehgal, Ravi Srivastav, Huda Zariwala, Khaliqur Rahman, and Advocate Kapil Madan. Thanks to all of you for joining us on this very important debate on the Newshour this evening. On to debate number 2, ladies and gentlemen. These visuals on your TV screens tell the sorry state of affairs in Bihar. This man is the father of a soldier who sacrificed his life for the country in the Galwan clash of 2020. But look at how his son's sacrifice has been mocked and insulted. The man was allegedly thrashed, dragged, and then arrested by the Bihar police. His only fault was that he wanted to build a memorial for his late son. His family has alleged that their father was slapped, kicked, abused, and picked up by the police, who treated him like he was a terrorist. Listen to their plight.
अभी हम वैशाली के जंदाहा में मौजूद है, जहां पर जय किशोर सिंह जो गलवान में 2020 में शहीद हुए थे, उनके घर पर मौजूद है। और जो रास्ते को लेकर पूरा विवाद है, वहां पर हम पहुंचे हैं ग्राउंड जीरो पर। और आप देखिए मेरे सामने जो आप देख रहे हैं, ये जय किशोर सिंह का यही स्मारक है, जिसे लेकर ये पूरा विवाद यहां पर उठा है।
जब इनका स्मारक मिला, एसपी यादव दिए तो फूल माला जंदाहा थाना आके चढ़ाए, पूजा पाठ सब कर दिए। और अब बोलते हैं आके जो इसको 15 दिन में हटा दीजिए, तो 8 दिन में हटा दीजिए, नहीं तो पानी में फेंक देंगे।
गलवान में ये घाटी में जब ये शहीद हुए थे, उसके बाद काफी नेताओं का भी यहाँ पर आना हुआ, पुलिस प्रशासन तमाम लोगों की यहाँ पर मौजूदगी रहती थी और सभी लोग आकर यहाँ पर माल्यार्पण भी करते थे, जैसा इनकी मां भी बता रही हैं। लेकिन अभी देखिए किस तरह के हालात है कि एक रास्ते के विवाद को लेकर इसे तोड़ने तक की बात आ रही है।
माने पहले आए हैं तब मारे हैं, गाड़ी में जब बैठे हैं तो लात से मारे हैं, यहाँ से गिरफ्तार करके ले गए हैं तो झापट से बोलेरो में मारे हैं, और फिर थाना पर उतरते समय मारे हैं झापट से।
जय किशोर सिंह के बलिदान को यहाँ पर नमन करने के लिए तमाम नेता पहुंचे थे, लेकिन आज आप देखिए किस तरह से यहाँ पर जब इनके स्मारक को तोड़ने की बात है, तो इसका जो परिवार है, जय किशोर शहीद का जो परिवार है, वो किस तरह से यहाँ पर परेशान है।
Look at these pictures on your screens. In 2020, in the year when soldier Jai Kishore Singh was martyred, politicians including Tejaswi Yadav, Pappu Yadav, Sushil Modi had gone to meet the family of the brave heart and paid their tributes. But now, the Bihar Sarkar says that the memorial has been built illegally on government land. Even in February 2022, several local government officials had participated in the inauguration ceremony of the Brave Hearts Memorial. So what's changed now? This insult of the family of India's Veer has angered many. The BJP says this is the real face of Nitish Sarkar. Let's quickly take this across to our guests who are joining us. With us is Dr. Dhananjay Giri, spokesperson of the Bihar BJP. But first and foremost, want to go across to Anwar Hussain, who's a leader of the RJD. Mr. Anwar Hussain, is this how we are going to remember our braves? हमारे शहीदों के परिवार के साथ इस तरह की मारपीट हो, इस तरह का बर्ताव हो? अगर हाँ पुलिस को कार्रवाई करनी थी तो कार्रवाई कर सकते थे, लेकिन इस तरह के बर्ताव की क्या जरूरत थी सर? और किस चीज पर लड़ाई हो रही है? बात हो रही है मेमोरियल के लिए। अनवर हुसैन जी, आपको आवाज आ रही है?
I think some aspects of the news is not clear here. Yes, one side of picture is only coming that police has thrashed his father, police has ill-treated it, and if it's correct, then it's highly condemnable. Instead of paying our tribute, saluting the martyr, police is doing something wrong. Highly condemnable. But
what action has been taken then on those cops who are doing this?
We should also try to know. No, we should know the reason also why the police was behaving like this.
No, the allegation is that there was an FIR filed because the land was allegedly, government land or land that did not belong to the father. This matter could have been settled, sir. We could have found a better place if it was. The police and the administration should at least be sensitive in such a matter. Not going up, picking up the father of a martyr and beating him up.
You are right. In a way, you are right. But we have to understand the whole story behind. It will not simply one day that he will go and he will try to establish something on unauthorized land. Police duty is to also protect.
Police
anyway,
you are saying police was doing his duty. धनंजय गिरी जवाब दीजिए. Police his duty was to protect. ये कहना है अनवर हुसैन साहब जो आरजेडी के लीडर है. जवाब देंगे आप इन्हें?
No. See, Lee, we know our.
This is the real face.
Our police, not in Bihar only, in UP also, in Delhi also, all over India. We know the style of the functioning of the police.
Okay.
We should condemn all such behavior of the police in every case.
Absolutely. Let's get a response. Let's get a response from Dr. Dhananjay Giri.
Only.
Okay, sir. You made your point. Let Dr. Dhananjay Giri comment now. Yes, Dr. Dhananjay Giri.
Madhavji, first of all, I am not going into legality of the land and the what is the position of land in the name of which. This is the real face of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar. They are continuously putting a healthy competition between both the parties, both the leading parties, who can demean more about Indian culture, the Bihar, the nation, and the army. So some days before JDU MLC something told, after that the RJD MLA told something about that. Everybody is trying to demean the army. So this is the highest sacrifice of any soldiers. They sacrifice their life for the nation. Everybody is having a lot of respect. Rashtrapaति Dinkar has put it कि कलम आज उनकी जय बोल जो चढ़ गए पुण्य बेदी पर लिए बिना गर्दन कल मोल जला हड्डियां बारी बारी छिट गाई जिसमें चिंगारी लिए बिना गर्दन का मोल कलम आज उनकी जय बोल. But everybody is saying jai and putting highest respect to the martyrs.
Well, sir,
apart from the Mahagathbandhan government,
Dr. Dhananjay Giri,
they are having only one agenda to demean.
I'm completely out of time, sir, but you know, the statements by certain leaders, including ministers, you know, RJD leader Surendra Prasad Yadav makes a derogatory remark against Agniveers, calling them Hijro ki Fauj, you know, just a few days ago. In light of that, this comment, what has happened in Tamil Nadu, one of our braves, not just his family members injured, one of our Jawans actually lost their lives. All of this just raises a serious question. These are the men who guard us, who allow us to sleep safely in the night and soundly, because they are at our borders, putting their life and limb at risk, away from their near and dear ones. Do they not deserve this much of basic respect, especially when they've laid down their lives in the line of fire, protecting their motherland? That's just a simple thought I want to leave our viewers with this evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Dhananjay Giri and Anwar Hussain, for joining us this evening.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
महिलाओं के लिए भी स्कूल है, लेकिन जो दादी माँ है, बुजुर्ग है, उनके भी ऐसा कोई स्कूल नहीं है, इसलिए उनको शिक्षा देने के लिए वो दादी को हमने चुना. ये पूरा जो गांव है हमारा फांगणे गांव, एक परिवार के जैसे यह उपक्रम मनाते हैं. उस समय छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज जी के चरित्र का पठन हो रहा था, तो यह सुनने के लिए हमारे गांव के 30 दादी माँ जो है, जो उनके जमाने में कभी स्कूल में गई नहीं थी, उन्हें पढ़ाई लिखना उन्हें आता नहीं था, वह भी बैठी थी. वो मेरे पास आई और मुझे बोलने लगी कि सर देखो, सभी अच्छी तरह से पढ़ाई यहाँ करती है, अगर हमें भी लिखना पढ़ना आता तो हम भी यह आनंद में हिस्सा ले सकते हैं. उन्होंने बताया हुआ जो कुछ दुख है, इसका रूपांतर जो है वह सुख में करने के लिए मैंने सोचा कि 8 मार्च 2016 वर्ल्ड वुमेन डे है. लोग एक दिन महिला का सम्मान करते हैं, इसीलिए ये दादी माँ स्कूल की शुरुआत उसी दिन हुई. हमारे स्कूल में जो दादी माँ है, उनका एज ग्रुप 60 से 94 ईयर है. 2 बजे स्कूल स्टार्ट होता है, तो वह 2 बजे से पहले ही सभी दादी माँ इधर अपनी जो तैयारी है, अपना जो कुछ होमवर्क है, वह सब करके यहाँ आती है. ये स्कूल के अलावा ये दादी माँ के बहुत ही ऐसे उपक्रम हम यहाँ करते हैं. ये सभी दादी माँ को काशी यात्रा भी हम करके लाए हैं. यहाँ उन्हें पढ़ाई लिखना इतना ही नहीं, तो उनके जीवन में आनंद कैसा आए, इसीलिए उनको किधर घुमाना है या और कुछ करना है. इतना ही नहीं, तो उनका मेडिकल कैंप भी हम हमेशा रखते हैं. कोई दादी माँ बीमार पड़े तो उसको भी हम अच्छी तरह से मदद करते हैं। तो बहुत ही उनके जिंदगी में जो ज्ञान उपयुक्त है वह सब उन्हें यहाँ बताया जाता है। अच्छे तरह से जीवन कैसा बिताना चाहिए, अपना जीवन आरोग्यपूर्ण कैसा होना चाहिए, कोई बीमारी से किस तरह से झगड़ना चाहिए, इतना ही नहीं बीमारी कौन सी भी न होए, इसी तरह का जो कुछ ज्ञान है वो भी इधर ये सभी दादी माँ को दिया जाता है। खेल कूद में भी ये दादी माँ बहुत ही अग्रेसर रहती है। पेंटिंग करना, हैंडक्राफ्ट का कुछ काम करना, यह भी काम ये सब दादी माँ करती है। हमारे दादी माँ स्कूल को अभी तक बहुत ही अवार्ड प्राप्त हुए हैं। इतना ही नहीं, लिम्का बुक रिकॉर्ड भी ये दादी माँ स्कूल का हुआ है। ये स्कूल चालू करने का यही हेतु था कि बुजुर्गों को सम्मान मिलना चाहिए। अगर ये सभी दादी माँ को अच्छी तरह से लिखना पढ़ना या उनको साइन भी करने आने लगी तो भी उनके लिए उनका पूरा जीवन ही सम्मानजनक और सफल हो जाएगा।
लहान होते तेव्हा शाळेत गेले नाही।
आमची परिस्थिती कठीण होती आई बाबाची, मग ते शाळेत पण नाही टाकली।
आजीबाईच्या शाळेमध्ये आल्यापासून माझं आयुष्य बदलूनच गेलं।
ही शाळा चालू झाल्यापासून आम्हाला सही बी येते।
आम्ही कोणत्या गावाला गेलो का आता कोणाला विचारायची गरज नाही, आम्हाला आता पाटी लिहिता वाचता येते।
आजीबाईच्या शाळेत आल्यापासून मला आनंद वाटला ना, जीवन बदलला।
ये स्कूल के द्वारा मैं यही मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ कि आपके घर में जो कुछ दादी माँ है उनका हम बहुत अच्छी तरह से सम्मान करना चाहिए। अभी हमारे देश में जो एल्डर लोगों के लिए जो हाउस अभी बन रहे हैं तो वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए। यह बुजुर्ग स्वयंपूर्ण स्वावलंबी हो गए और खुद पे वो निर्भर हो गए, वो आनंदी रह गए तो पूरा घर परिवार जो है वह भी आनंदी और चैतन्यमय हो सकता है। और इसीलिए ये दादी माँ को पढ़ाना बहुत ही जरूरी है।
Meta laid off 11,000 plus employees, Amazon 10,000, Twitter 3,700 plus, Snapchat 6,000। गाइस लिस्ट और भी लंबी है और अगर एक हेडलाइन जो हर न्यूज़पेपर, हर न्यूज़ चैनल चला रहा है आजकल, that's about layoffs affecting the big tech industry. Big tech companies are in big trouble. एक टाइम था जब ये इंडस्ट्री फ्यूचर प्रूफ थी एंड जॉब सिक्योरिटी के लिए काफी जानी जाती थी, बट
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Forces eliminate 2 terrorists who killed Kashmiri Hindu, Sanjay Sharma in Kashmir's Pulwama. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde writes to Deputy Speaker Neelam Gore to appoint Shiv Sena's Chief Whip leader in Legislative Council. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis will address MLAs at the joint meeting of BJP and Shinde Sena. In a symbolic protest, NCP MLAs arrive with onions at Maharashtra's Vidhan Bhavan, demanding appropriate prices for onions.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
स्ट्रक्चरिंग एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी के नाम पे भर भर के जॉब कट्स हो रहे हैं। सो क्या टेक का ड्रीम रन ओवर हो चुका है? व्हाट लाइज अहेड? लेट्स फाइंड आउट इन दिस वीडियो एंड आई एम सुमिता खरीर। बिग टेक का बिग रीसेट मोमेंट आ चुका है गाइस। लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स फर्स्ट। एक्सटेंट ऑफ लेऑफ्स की बात करें तो 2022 में मोर देन 1,37,492 वर्कर्स हैव बीन लेड ऑफ अक्रॉस 850 प्लस टेक कंपनीज। बट हाउ डिड बिग टेक गेट हियर? वेल, नंबर 1, misplaced pandemic boom. Online businesses में boom हुआ after the COVID-19 pandemic, where everybody was stuck at home. सब घर पे बैठ के ऑर्डर कर रहे थे, नेटफ्लिक्स पे कंटेंट देख रहे थे और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे थे। तो नेचुरली बिजनेसेस ने वहां स्पेंड करना शुरू कर दिया जहां ग्रोथ दिखी। लाइक मेटा ओवरस्पेंट ऑन मेटावर्स, AR, VR टेक्नोलॉजीज टू द ट्यून ऑफ, कुछ रिपोर्ट्स बोल रही हैं, अराउंड $36 बिलियन। एंड बाय द वे, मेटावर्स कोई 1-1.5 साल में तो सेटअप नहीं होने वाला है। सो ओवर ऑप्टिमिज्म दैट दिस डिजिटल बूम विल फॉरएवर स्टे, इसकी वजह से इन्वेस्टर्स भी पैसा डालते गए, हायरिंग्स और स्पेंड्स बढ़ते गए। जैसे ही कोविड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लिफ्ट हुए तब आया स्टोरी में ट्विस्ट। नाउ ये डिमांड जो है डिजिटल इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए, डिजिटल गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज के लिए, ये सस्टेन नहीं रही, बिकॉज ऑफिस जाना है तो कितना फेसबुक यूज करोगे, कितना नेटफ्लिक्स देखोगे, एंगेजमेंट इन सारे प्लेटफॉर्म से गिर गई एंड ग्रोथ सस्टेन नहीं हुई। जूम फॉर इंस्टेंस, द वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग कंपनी, उसके शेयर्स अभी 90% डाउन है। नंबर 2, दूसरा रीजन है ग्लोबल इन्फ्लेशन एंड मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक ट्रेंड्स। नाउ जब ग्रोथ गिर गई तो उसके बाद आया इन्वेस्टर्स का प्रेशर टू फिक्स वैल्यूएशंस। ऊपर से रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर ने इन्फ्लेशन, इंटरेस्ट रेट सबको बढ़ा दिया, व्हिच इज पुट प्रेशर ऑन द ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी। डिपिंग रेवेन्यू। इसके बाद क्या हुआ, एडवर्टाइजर्स ने भी लेस स्पेंडिंग करना शुरू कर दिया और ओवरऑल रेवेन्यूज जो थे इन डिजिटल कंपनीज।
मोटरसाइकिलिंग इज इमोशन ड्रिवन। You name your bike, you work with it, you control it, you become one with your bike. And from there, the common theme came, control नहीं मिल रहा, feel नहीं आ रही. And obviously, once we started translating कि हमें क्या सुनाई दे रहा है और कस्टमर को क्या चाहिए, and we've spoken to over 500 customers on this.
Good evening and welcome. You are watching the Newshour agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Today, 2 ministers of the Arvind Kejriwal cabinet tendered their resignation. It must be noted that these are ministers who held the maximum and most weighty assignments in the Delhi government. So, their departure naturally will leave a big vacuum in governance. Satyendra Jain's portfolios were earlier allocated to Manish Sisodia, and now Sisodia's own ministries will go to Kailash Gehlot and Rajkumar Anand. But this headache is unlikely to go away for the Aam Aadmi Party anytime soon, because now the focus of the united opposition is on the chief minister himself, where after the Supreme Court refused to give any relief to Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain continues to be in jail and has repeatedly been denied bail, the opposition is asking, does the buck simply stop with these two men, or the next person who should take responsibility and step down be Arvind Kejriwal?
मैं भाजपा विधायक दल की ओर से दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री के इस्तीफे की मांग करता हूं। शराब घोटाले के सूत्रधार दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं। जब ये नई शराब नीति लाई गई तो विधानसभा के अंदर भी मैंने ये आरोप लगाया था कि आप दिल्ली को शराब की नगरी बना रहे हैं।
याद होगा लगातार हम बार बार डिमांड कर रहे थे कि मनीष सिसोदिया इस्तीफा दे, इसमें बड़ा भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है, दिल्ली को आपने तबाह और बर्बाद कर दिया, ये पॉलिसी गलत बनाई है। आज वो बात साबित हो गई। आज इस्तीफा भी हुआ है, ये इस्तीफा पहले हो जाना चाहिए था, लेकिन आज हुआ। चलो देर से आए दुरुस्त आए, फिर भी कहता हूं, लेकिन अब जांच का दायरा आगे बढ़ेगा। अरविंद को पता है कि अरविंद की तरफ ये जांच आगे बढ़ेगी। कहना चाहता हूं अरविंद को भी नैतिकता के आधार पर इस्तीफा देना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये वही अरविंद केजरीवाल है जो 2013 में यूपीए से सवाल किया करते थे कि आप पे आरोप लगे हैं, गद्दी छोड़िए, मनमोहन सिंह जी से इस्तीफा मांगा था। तो एक निष्पक्ष जांच हो। अरविंद आप इस्तीफा दीजिए, आपके खुद के पीए अरेस्ट हुए हैं, वो अभी जांच के दायरे में हैं, आपको इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
But before we go any further, let's take a look at what Manish Sisodia has given as the reason for his resignation. He's basically said that Lord Krishna and his father have taught him to never commit any corruption, so that he couldn't engage in a misdemeanor even if he wanted to, even if he tried. That's how ingrained honesty is in his personality. Additionally, he said in this 3-page letter that all the false charges being leveled are actually an attack on Arvind Kejriwal. Manish Sisodia is not the target, it's Arvind Kejriwal who is the intended target. And now that these attacks have gotten out of hand and crossed all limits, he has no option but to step down.
आम आदमी पार्टी लोगों के लिए काम करती है, किसी ईगो में काम नहीं करती है, किसी राजनीतिक एजेंडे से काम नहीं करती है। अब एक प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी है कि इतने सारे महकमों को अगर नहीं चलाया जाएगा तो दिल्ली के लोगों के काम रुकेंगे, G20 का काम रुकेगा और सबसे नज़दीकी तो बजट का काम रुकेगा। इसलिए जो है ये फैसला किया गया, उन लोगों ने अपना इस्तीफा दिया।
दिल्ली के 2 करोड़ लोगों का प्यार और आशीर्वाद पाकर दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी दिल्ली के लोगों की सेवा कर रहे हैं। उनका काम किसी प्रकार से रुकना नहीं चाहिए, बाधित नहीं होना चाहिए। इस कारण से दोनों मंत्रियों का, आदरणीय मनीष सिसोदिया जी का और सत्येंद्र जैन जी का इस्तीफा लिया गया है, उसको मुख्यमंत्री जी ने स्वीकार कर लिया। दोनों मंत्रियों के ऊपर लगे हुए आरोप का सवाल है, ये आरोप पूरी तरीके से बेबुनियाद है, फर्जी है और कोई सत्यता इसमें नहीं है। ये बात मैं फिर से दोहराना चाहता हूं।
So it all boils down to this. The Aam Aadmi Party is continuing with their assertion that both the ministers are innocent. Then why has their resignation been sought at this juncture after all this time has passed, especially for Satyendra Jain? It's all very well for the Congress and BJP to seek Arvind Kejriwal's resignation, but is there really any evidence against him? Is there any merit in the claim by Aam Aadmi Party that no money trail has been found to substantiate claims of a kickback? And if really all of this evidence exists, have these resignations come at this juncture only in order to insulate Arvind Kejriwal from any blowback?
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Shehzad Poonawala, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us along with Advocate Ashwini Upadhyay, Hakim Rizwan Ilahi, political analyst, Advocate Abhishek Sudhir, lawyer. But my first question is Dr. Subansi Raman, political analyst. 18 portfolios is what he handled earlier. What was the need for Manish Sisodia to resign now? Why has this been done?
Look, I think that there is clearly a political reason for accepting the resignations now, Padmaja, and I think that the reason is probably Kejriwal calculates that probably Mr. Sisodia could potentially get bail soon, in which case, you know, he can take the moral high ground. Now, that's the only logical explanation that arises out of accepting the resignation at this stage, especially
Sorry, how is it logical? If you think that Mr. Sisodia is getting bail soon, all the more reason to let him continue. Why do you want another minister to read all of the 18 files of the 18 departments that Mr. Sisodia is handling?
No. See, the logic could very well be that, look, in the BJP, nobody resigns. Whatever be the accusation, whatever be the charges against them, nobody resigns. However, here we are as the Aam Aadmi Party. Even in the Congress, for instance, Pawan Bansal resigned, Shashi Tharoor resigned, Ashwini Kumar resigned, you know, during UPA term. So now here is an opportunity to say, look, we are not like the BJP. That's the only logical reason I can think of at this time.
Fine.
Unless there is something that we do not know about this whole issue as yet.
But okay, using your logic, if this is about taking the moral high ground, if this is about taking the moral high ground, just by the way, Manish Sisodia's name first appeared in the CBI. Just a second. First of all, Manish Sisodia's name appeared in the CBI FRR in August 2022. So it has been 7 months since his name has been floating around connected with these allegations. August 2022.
And then it didn't appear in the charge sheet.
Sir, his FIR, his name has surfaced, so he's been associated with the scam anyway. It's been 7 months.
Okay.
Fine, it did not appear, so you let him continue. Now let me ask you, Satyendra Jain. Okay, fine. Manish Sisodia, you're taking a moral high ground. Satyendra Jain has been in jail for the last 9 months. He has been denied bail twice. Once in November and once in June, if I'm not mistaken. You wanted to take moral high ground. You should have taken before the Gujarat elections. Why didn't you make him quit at that time? Why are you making him quit now?
Absolutely valid question. The only logical explanation for that as well is when you are seeking Mr. Sisodia's resignation, it makes no sense not to seek Mr. Satyendra Jain's resignation, and therefore both the resignations got clubbed together now. It's a very logical explanation.
You should have waited for a third person.
The point
Kailash Gehlot has been named in DTC scam. What is this logic? Then tomorrow you will say, he'll wait for Kailash Gehlot. When he will also go to jail, then he will club all three of them together. Then a fourth guy will go to jail and he'll club all four of them together.
Mr. Sisodia is very close to the Chief Minister. He is perceived to be a right-hand man of the Chief Minister, and therefore Mr. Kejriwal could well have thought that this is an opportunity to turn the tables.
I don't know why you're so unkind to Satyendra Jain. It's not like he's a stepson.
How soon Mr.
You know,
Sisodia
are you suggesting he's getting stepmotherly treatment from Arvind Kejriwal, that he's been languishing in jail for 9 months, but the only reason somebody paid attention to him today is because of Manish Sisodia? Actually, you are unfair and you are also wrong, because here is what Arvind Kejriwal said about Satyendra Jain soon after his arrest. Contrary to what you think, that nobody cares about Satyendra Jain, Mr. Kejriwal himself read all the files of Satyendra Jain, and here is the conclusion.
I never said nobody cares about him.
Here is the conclusion, that if nobody cared, then why did you not take moral high ground earlier and get him to quit the cabinet? Why were you waiting for 9 months? Let's listen to what...
Because he was not given bail.
Okay, let's listen to what Mr. Kejriwal said about Satyendra Jain.
मैंने सत्येंद्र जैन के सारे कागज खुद देखे हैं, पढ़ा लिखा आदमी हूँ, कानून की भी बहुत समझ है। इनके ऊपर लगाए गए सारे आरोप फर्जी हैं, पूरा का पूरा मामला फर्जी है, केवल राजनीति की वजह से उन्हें गिरफ्तार किया गया है। अगर उनके मामले में 1% की भी सच्चाई होती तो मैं खुद ही कब का उनके खिलाफ सख्त एक्शन ले चुका होता। सत्येंद्र जैन देशभक्त है, कट्टर ईमानदार है, बेहद साहसी है। ऐसी जेलें उनके साहस और जज्बे को और मजबूत करेंगे।
So using this logic, Mr. Kejriwal said, Abhishek Sudhir, अगर उनके खिलाफ 1% भी अगर कोई एविडेंस होता मैं एक्शन लेता। आज एक्शन ले लिया तो क्या 1% एविडेंस मिल गया अगेंस्ट सत्येंद्र जैन? 1% तो मिल गया शायद।
Well, see, like Sumansi Raman said, there are different aspects to this. If I look at it as a moral, legal, and political issue. Morally, yes, Mr. Sisodia has done the right thing by saying, I have been arrested, there are certain charges against me, I need to clear my name. This is how things were done in the old India. You know, the India for 70 years that was really a nation that apparently was not worth existing, in the words of the ruling dispensation. But that's how things were done in the old India. In fact, it was Feroz Gandhi who brought down the first minister, exposed his own father-in-law scams, right? And that minister had to resign.
Why this delayed morality? So, he was arrested last year. He was denied bail last in November. Why has this morality been delayed from November, December, January, February? 4 months since the last bail rejection and 9 months since jail.
Padmaja, I've not been on your channel for 4 months. Yaar, thoda to baat karne do, 4 mahine baad. So first is the moral issue. Now there's a legal and political issue. Legally, is this a good decision? I don't know. I'll tell you honestly, because my gut feeling is that Mr. Sisodia will get bail soon. Like Sumansi Raman said, if he does get bail soon from the Delhi High Court or the Supreme Court, then once again, Mr. Sisodia will be inducted into the cabinet, and that will seem like a victory for the arm. Now, there's a political consideration. I think the Delhi cabinet had 7 people. 2 of them, of course, now have been arrested. They can't do their job. Mr. Sisodia had 18 departments under him. So this is a political call that Mr. Kejriwal has taken. Now, who knows? Maybe Mr. Kejriwal might even call early polls. We never know, because we know that the Delhi unit of the BJP is woefully unprepared for any such election. And my unsolicited advice to Mr. Kejriwal is call the polls, go to the people, get a fresh mandate for 5 years.
Don't put this unsolicited burden on the Aam Aadmi Party. They are in no mood
I'm a nobody.
Why are you raining on their election parade? Shehzad Poonawalla.
I'm nobody.
Shehzad Poonawalla, practical consideration, like Saurabh Bhardwaj said, 18 departments were suffering. So another person is now going to take over the work. Don't crow just as yet.
First of all, if making virtue out of necessity was an art, at least one of the panelists on this panel would be the artist of that, very rare art. The way in which you're making an entire, big sacrifice out of something that should have been done long back. Let me put out something very important. Here is 28th of July. The Delhi High Court says Kejriwal should decide whether Jain, who by the way they consider to be a person of criminal background and charged with offences involving moral turpitude, should be allowed to continue as a minister or not. This is the first time I've seen that it takes 9 months for the conception of morality to actually take birth. I mean, it took 9 months for morality to get up and wake up. And in this period, in this intervening period, you had a situation where Mr. Kejriwal, time and again, despite 3 court orders at the very least, here's the Economic Times quoting the lower court order, which says that Mr. Satyendra Jain was prima facie guilty of hawalabazi, the High Court order of 2019 and the High Court order of 2022. In all these 3 instances, Satyendra Jain was considered to be prima facie guilty. Mr. Kejriwal came out and said that he was kattar imandar. And in that period, you had a child rapist becoming a physiotherapist and giving massage, VVIP treatment, malish, and and allowing the minister to do wasuli inside TR jail. And then none of the morality stung onto Mr. Kejriwal or his party. Now coming to the legal aspect, the courts have rejected you. Political aspect, in the MCD polls, both these ministers lost a majority of their wards. You have been rejected politically, you have been rejected legally, you have no moral ground to stand on, and these were the people in India Against Corruption would demand resignation without a legal process. And today you have legal process after legal process, but yet you are not willing to give your resignation. And finally, when you do, when the Supreme Court rejects your contention, then you come and say that, oh, we've made a great virtue out of a necessity.
Making a virtue out of a necessity. You just heard what Mr. Kejriwal said about Satyendra Jain. Now, before I come back to you, Dr. Suman Siraman, also listen to what he said about Manish Sisodia. Keeping this in mind, why I'm playing this out for you is, here are people who got his solid backing. So today, if they have been sacrificed at the altar, there is definitely something more than meets the eye. Listen to what he said about Mr. Sisodia.
ऐसे व्यक्ति को तो भारत रत्न मिलना चाहिए। मनीष सिसोदिया को गलत तरीके से सताया जा रहा है, उनको अब 3-4 दिन में इनको गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे। गिरफ्तार, 1 मिनट, गिरफ्तार करने का क्या नतीजा होगा? 3 महीने 4 महीने तक शिक्षा व्यवस्था सफर करेगी। किसके फायदे में है ये? पूरा केस फर्जी है, किसको फायदा होगा? हम काम रुकने नहीं देंगे, लेकिन थोड़े दिन के लिए बाधा तो पहुंचेगी।
So that's the question. If today these people who are so important, Dr. Suman Siraman, are being sacrificed, is it to insulate Arvind Kejriwal himself, as the Congress and BJP are alleging?
What are the charges against Arvind Kejriwal? Arvind Kejriwal is not an accused in any of these cases related to the Delhi excise policy or in any of the Satyendra Jain cases. So there is no, it is absurd to say that Mr. Sisodia and Mr. Jain are being asked to resign to shield Mr. Kejriwal. It is a ridiculous argument. By the way,
sir, do you have any facts to your claim that these are ridiculous arguments? Because I'm actually going to quote to you from the ED and CBI.
Resign?
I mean, you've used multiple adjectives. You said it's absurd, it's ridiculous,
it's strange, it's preposterous,
it's outlandish, it is medieval. But do you have any facts to back this assertion of yours?
Yes, it is. No, I didn't say medieval. I didn't say it is medieval.
I took a little bit of poetic liberty. Since I thought you were running out of adjectives, I added 3 of my own. But on what basis are you calling this an outlandish suggestion?
Quoting ED.
Quoting ED. Okay. Ashwini Upadhyay, what is the connection of Arvind Kejriwal? Last we heard he hadn't even been questioned, leave alone incriminated. So yeah, Arvind Kejriwal का resignation किस खुशी में मांगा जा रहा है?
देखिए, पहली बात तो ये कि आपने पहले बता दिया कि क्या क्या हुआ है। जहां तक मेरी जानकारी है कि सीबीआई के पास इलेक्ट्रॉनिक एविडेंस काफी है उनके पास, और उसके बाद ही उन्होंने सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया है। लेकिन अगर सिसोदिया जी वास्तव में इनोसेंट हैं तो एक लीगल में उनको अनसॉलिसिटेड एडवाइस देता हूं, आप कोर्ट में एप्लीकेशन मूव करिए कि मैं अपना नार्को पॉलीग्राफ ब्रेन मैपिंग टेस्ट कराना चाहता हूं, और आप ये भी रिक्वेस्ट करिए कि ये बाकायदा लाइव भी हो जाए। मुझे लगता है पूरे देश में इससे अच्छा कुछ मैसेज नहीं जाएगा कि सिसोदिया जी का नार्को पॉलीग्राफ ब्रेन मैपिंग हो रहा है, वहां टाइम्स नाउ का भी कैमरा लगा है, मिरर नाउ का भी लगा हुआ है, टाइम्स नाउ नव भारत भी लगा हुआ है, देश भर के सारे चैनल लगा रहे हैं, और पूरे देश में एक मैसेज चला जाएगा, देखो भाई सिसोदिया जी एकदम से तो पाक साफ निकल गए। जो साल भर के बाद या 2 साल के बाद कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आएगा, एक प्राइमा फेसाई आपको जीत यहीं से मिल सकती है, वो 2 दिन 3 दिन के अंदर मिल सकती है, वो कर सकते हैं। अदरवाइज दूसरा ऑप्शन ये है कि पूरे देश भर में एमएलए एमपी कोर्ट बनी हुई है, वो मेरी पीआईएल है पद्मजा जी, वो राउज एवेन्यू कोर्ट जहां पे इनका मुकदमा चल रहा है, पहले वो थी नहीं, 2017 में बनी, वो मेरी पीआईएल पे बनी है, और मेरे पीआईएल पे पूरे देश भर में लगभग 200 सांसद विधायक अब तक जेल जा चुके हैं। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि उनको फायदा उठाना चाहिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर का, और वहां पे मूव करना चाहिए। भाई देखो, ऑलरेडी हमारे पास एक ऑर्डर है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट कह रहा है एमएलए एमपी का मैटर 1 साल के अंदर खत्म होना चाहिए। आप फटाफट चार्जशीट फाइल करो और मेरा मैटर जल्दी से डिसाइड कर दो। 2 तरीका है इससे जल्दी से बाहर निकलने।
Okay, yes, go on.
Quick point on a much more serious note. Mr. Raman, please, can I have just 20 seconds, please?
Quick response to your answer to Shahzad Poonawala. I'm coming back to you.
In the domain of public life, it's not just the legal accountability, it's political accountability. As Chief Minister, Mr. Kejriwal defended Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, against whom there are multiple court orders, proving that prima facie they have a lot to answer for. But yet Mr. Kejriwal came out and said that I have seen their files and they owe no answers, they are not guilty at all. And in fact, he said this for Jitendra Tomar as well. Now on the anvil of political responsibility, moral responsibility from a party that started off that by saying that people should resign at a drop of a hat even if there's no legal process, today to coming and defending how Satyendra Jain was seen with a rapist massaging him inside Tihar jail. I think the enormity of that, when he was a minister, the power he was allowed to wield inside Tihar jail is a serious matter.
So
therefore that responsibility is on Mr. Kejriwal. Therefore we ask him to resign because 9 months have been delayed.
Okay, so let's start with this moral responsibility. Hakeem Rizwan Elahi. Remember at the peak of the anti-corruption movement, Mr. Kejriwal's nara was, "Pehle istifa, phir jaanch." He read out 18 to 24 names and he said, "Pehle istifa, phir jaanch." Sheila Dikshit, pehle istifa, phir jaanch. Sharad Pawar, pehle istifa, phir jaanch. Nitin Gadkari, pehle istifa, phir jaanch.
BJP has always used these dirty tactics in the politics through which they are trying to persuade people. They use these kind of things in order to set the narrative throughout India. But Indian people, our nation, one day they will throw them out of their powerful thrones and they are acting like
that's
despots.
Wonderful. We'll wait for when that happens. But right now, if you can come back to the topic, sir. Mr. Elahi, no. I am applying your standards to you and saying that the standards for probity were set by the Aam Aadmi Party.
Revolutionized the education system in India, who has raised the downtrodden people of India. You're raising a question against such person.
Okay, but Mr. Elahi, hold on a second. Mr. Elahi, before you get Mr. Elahi. Okay, so this is to say that you made schools, which is great, is no reason to violate the alcohol policy. This is like saying that you commit murder and then you donate to a charity and one cancels out the other. The two are unconnected. Now let me go back to Dr. Sumansi Raman. Hold on a second. I really don't think we'll get any answer to the whole issue of moral responsibility and standards of morality that have been set, because that clearly is very subjective. Coming back to you, Dr. Sumansi Raman, and let me also get an Abhishek Sudhir on this. When we're talking about Mr. Kejriwal, actually there are multiple complaints, remand notes, etc. that have been given. Let me quote to you from a few of them. Now, for example, the prosecution complaint by the Enforcement Directorate says the follows. Vijay Nair, who has orchestrated this entire scam, is not an ordinary worker of the Aam Aadmi Party, but a close associate of Shri Arvind Kejriwal, the CM of Delhi, and was closely interacting with the Deputy CM for excise policy related matters. In fact, Mr. Vijay Nair, since 2020, has been residing in the government bungalow allotted to Cabinet Minister and functions from camp office of Shri Arvind Kejriwal. Second, Again, the ED says this is very interesting. Shri Vijay Nair arranged a meeting of the controller of Indo Spirit, Sameer Mahindru, with Arvind Kejriwal. And when that didn't materialize, he arranged a video call through FaceTime over his phone for Shri Sameer and Shri Arvind Kejriwal, where Shri Arvind said to Sameer, Vijay is his boy and Sameer should trust him and carry on with him. Dr. Sumansi Raman. That is where Arvind Kejriwal's mention comes in.
I mean, huge.
There was an actual meeting which the ED speaks about.
This is massive, Padmaja. Somebody said something about somebody. Huge evidence. I think it's a clinching evidence. It's like a money trail. It's like a cash being, deposited in an account. Padmaja, this is laughable. You think that this is evidence? If it is not corroborated with transactions, with money having changed hands.
I mean, Mr. Sisodia is certainly not laughing. You may find all of this laughable. But clearly the Supreme Court found enough evidence to tell him that, listen, it's a case of corruption, go to High Court.
No, they did not find evidence. Sorry, no.
The Supreme Court today said it's a case of corruption, go to the High Court. They said it's a case of corruption, sir, go to the High Court.
No, they said go to the High Court.
Because it's a case of corruption.
No, they did not say that we have found evidence against Mr. Sisodia. They said the procedure means you have to go to the High Court. By the way, I'm sure Padmaja Joshi tomorrow is going to carry out a detailed debate on 33 ministers of the present central government facing criminal cases, including 4 of them facing charges of attempt to murder.
Let all of them go to jail, sir. Let all of them go to jail. But it has to happen through a legal process. My question to you is, one doesn't excuse the other.
Are you going to do a debate on this tomorrow?
Sir, I humbly reserve the right to decide what I want to debate, but whatever I will debate on fact. I will not debate on rhetoric that if you are doing this, why you are not saying that. But on your fact, on your fact, I will ask the question. This is at best a claim by the Enforcement Directorate that Sameer Mahendru had a phone call with Arvind Kejriwal and Vijay Nair facilitated. Who knows that the call took place?
Now,
what's the evidence?
May I please, Sumansi Raman, I am not discourteous to speak in... May I speak?
Hold on, Mr. Raman. You are asking the question, where is the proof that this call happened?
May I just speak?
Where is the proof that this call happened?
I don't want to get into the legal...
Not at all.
Can I please speak? Can we at least have basic courtesy on a debate?
Let him finish. Okay, what is your issue with this now, Dr. Sumansi Raman?
But let me at least articulate my party's position. I know it better than Mr. Raman.
Let him finish with his
He will never finish.
1 minute.
Yes.
But this is arguing on an issue that my party has not raised. So I want to put what my party has raised. Can I ask?
Just a second. 30 seconds. Finish
They
your
are quibbling over an issue my party has nothing to...
Padmaja raised it.
Yes, I genuinely have this question.
But Padmaja doesn't belong to my party. Let me raise my party.
Yes, but I am here to have my show, not your party's point of view alone. 30 seconds, finish your point, Dr. Sumansi Raman. Yes.
Yeah, my point is very simple. There needs to be a money trail to establish corruption. Somebody said something, somebody spoke on the phone. All of these need to be corroborated. If they are not corroborated with financial impropriety, if there is no money trail, then the case does not stand.
You made your point. Money trail and no evidence of this ever having happened. Yes, go on.
Padmaja, again, read my lips. I am not saying that Mr. Kejriwal must resign because he has now been proven to have a definitive role in the entire scam. That will play out when the CBI and the ED, when the law takes its own course and it takes out all the information that is related to this. I am making another point and I request Mr. Raman to please answer me specifically. Mr. Raman, on 28th of July, the High Court held that Mr. Satendra Jain is a man of moral turpitude and a criminal background, and on 29th of July, the trial court held prima facie sufficient evidence against Satendra Jain that he was involved in Hawala Bazi, and the charge sheet of the ED was accepted. Now, 29th July, today is 28th February. May I ask you that when the court makes such stinging definitive findings about an individual in your cabinet, what prevented the sleeping morality of Arvind Kejriwal to not wake up in July and now to wake up in February? Can you answer this specific question? I do not want the answer to what his role may or may not be in the scam.
Abhishek Sudhir, go on.
First of all, prima facie does not mean guilty. Prima facie is a Latin term which means on the face of it. When you have to establish guilt, you have to establish guilt beyond reasonable doubt.
Then why did you take the resignation now? Then why you took resignation even now? Nobody has been convicted even now. And Sheila Dixit was convicted. 13 ministers of UPA were convicted. You did not even have a trial court or a finding or a prima facie order of any court. At that time, you wanted everyone to quit and resign. You want some businessmen to quit and resign. But in your case, a preliminary finding of a court, not contradicted by any higher court, should not be taken on value because it has the Latin words prima facie. Unbelievable standards of hypocrisy, sir. Unbelievable.
Are you done with your tantrum?
No.
Are you done with your tantrum?
Abhishek
Can I complete my point?
It's interesting that you want to hang on to the word prima facie here. Yesterday, the Member of Parliament of Aam Aadmi Party, Sanjay Singh, said that give me the ED, I will put Adani in jail. He is ready to jail somebody against whom there is not even a trial. But right now you are saying, oh, it is only prima facie guilt, it hasn't been proven. Go on.
Why are you all upset? You all should all be happy today. Bhai. Satyendra Jain and Sisodia resigned.
I could care either way for one. Shehzad Poonawala may be upset or happy, but
I'm upset about that young girl's parivar who had to see the torture of a rapist massaging a minister. If you think that's a laughing matter, Mr. Sudhir, then you obviously do not know what the people of Delhi have seen. They have seen a child rapist being legitimized as a physiotherapist. Leave alone how it makes the physiotherapist feel, but it definitely makes that family very, very perturbed. I have spoken to that family, so perhaps you don't know their pain. Perhaps you should take this as not as a laughing matter.
Do you know who Sandeep Singh is in Haryana?
Sir, you can go and file a case against him and take any appropriate action in all the cases. I would request you to do it, not just Sandeep Singh, but Sandeep Kumar also. And perhaps a whole range of your leaders across the country. But we are talking about this specific case. Do you have answers about that, Mr. Sudhir?
Why should I have answers, man?
Of course, because your arrogance only beats your sense of entitlement.
Okay, thank you for that lesson. I'll try to work on myself. Can I move on now? So
make
now,
a cogent argument, the first argument that you make that makes sense tonight, please. I'm waiting eagerly for it.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You've been sidelined as spokesperson. It's really upsetting you.
Okay, please, we are not going to get into this kind of childish back and forth, please. Let's get to the topic. Simple question is, either today you say that circumstances have changed in the last few days, and somehow the Aam Aadmi Party believes that Mr. Sisodia and Mr. Satyendra Jain are hot potatoes, or that they are trying to distance them from Mr. Kejriwal. Which one of them has happened?
30 seconds, I'll make my point. There are two courts at play. One is the court of public opinion and one is your legal courts. In terms of the legal courts, neither of them have been proven guilty. Mr. Sisodia has been arrested just 48 hours ago. Within 48 hours, he's resigned. Now, he might just get bail tomorrow or day after this week from the Supreme Court, from the Delhi High Court. We'll have to wait and see. Now, that's the legal process. Now, there's a court of public opinion. In a court of public opinion, evidence does not matter. Prima facie does not matter in the court of public opinion. Today, Mr. Kejriwal has accepted the resignation. Now, let us see how it plays out in the court of public opinion.
But, sir, the court of public opinion existed since June last year. And in the court of public opinion and in the courts that denied Mr. Satyendra Jain bail, there was talk of moral turpitude. There were serious charges. There were talks of misdemeanor, evidence of misdemeanor inside jail. What changed today for Satyendra Jain?
Right.
Did you not care for public opinion?
Who is the judge in a court of public opinion? It's the people. In the latest electoral test, the Aam Aadmi Party got more seats in the BJP in the MCD elections.
In the MCD ward, Satyendra Jain, Kailash Gehlot and Mr. Manish Sisodia lost all their seats.
So what about
By the way, they lost all their seats. Exactly. Public opinion was also against them.
BJP lost in your wards, na? Where you stay, they must have lost. Where do you stay?
See, Abhishek.
BJP social media head. You must have resigned.
Abhishek. Now, may I speak? May I speak for a moment?
Court of public opinion.
Abhishek.
I'm just speaking for 10 seconds. I won't interrupt you. Give me 10 seconds.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
Simple point. In the court of public opinion, the people decide. Okay, the people gave him a clear mandate in 2015. They gave him a clear, overwhelming mandate again in 2020. They've given him an overwhelming mandate in December of 2022. And my suggestion to Mr. Kejriwal is today he will still win if he calls early polls.
So if everything is giving you an overwhelming mandate, why did you take his resignation? All the more reason that if you have been rewarded, if under Manish Sisodia you won the MCD election, if under the leadership of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain in particular, you did so spectacularly in Gujarat, why did you punish them now, after they have delivered the results?
Let me tell you, it's simply put this. People said when Aam Aadmi Party, when India Against Corruption started, you said you will come to change politics. You said you will do things differently. This is Manish Sisodia doing things differently. He did not have to resign in today's political climate. Nobody expected him to resign, but he's resigned. This is evidence of the Aam Aadmi Party doing things differently. That's all I'll say.
Okay, they're quite differently. It's a little bit like a ketchup advertisement. Final word, yes.
You know, Padmaja, when your entire career has been being a side plate of the Samajwadi and now being a side plate of the Aam Aadmi Party, and but I did not take anybody's name. Now, I don't know whom it applies to, but I am sure that it applies to the right person. You know, you make arguments that are self-defeating and contradictory in nature. If the public opinion resurrected you and you say that you won the elections because of Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia's cutouts all over Delhi in the MCD election, then there should have been all the more reason to say, look, we back our guy. He has done nothing wrong. We'll stand by him. But instead, 9 months months later, 9 months too late, after courts have ruled upon you, you suddenly decide that now I have to call my losses, I have to cut my losses and sacrifice 2 goats because I need to save my soul. That shows that you are politically corrupt, you are legally fixed, and now you have no moral locus standi. That is the entire sum and substance of today's developments.
All right. Is this getting too close for comfort for senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party? And is this going to cut the party's losses? We'll keep a close eye for the time being. Thank you very much, all gentlemen, for joining me. After Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath vowed to dismantle mafia in his state, the state police made major headway in the Umesh Pal murder case. A day after accused Arbaaz, who was driving the white SUV used in the murder, was killed in an encounter, the state police has now held 2 more people. One from the Muslim hostel of Allahabad University named Sadakat Khan, and it's him who has heated up the politics in Uttar Pradesh. He is alleged to be the key conspirator in the killing. Another is an LLB student, Mubashir Haroon, who has been picked up by the UP STF for questioning. Now, the BJP says that Sadakat's presence with Akhilesh Yadav makes it clear that the entire murder was planned at the behest of the Samajwadi Party, and it is the Samajwadi Party which is now trying to put the state government in the dock in order to escape responsibility. What is the truth of this entire story? Let us go across. Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, joining me along with spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Anurag Bhadoria. Anurag Bhadoria जी, पहले बताइए ये सदाकत सा क्या रिश्ता है समाजवादी पार्टी से?
मैं वही पूछना चाहता हूँ कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का क्या रिश्ता है? उनके पूर्व विधायक उदयभान सिंह के साथ में वो बड़े आराम से बैठे हुए हैं। उनसे ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे गुफ्तगू चल रही हो, रोज की मुलाकात हो। अगर बैकग्राउंड भी आप देख लो तो ऐसा लग रहा है किसी ऑफिस में नहीं बैठे हैं, किसी घर में आराम से बैठ के बातें हो रही हैं। और जिस पिक्चर की हमारी वो पिक्चर भी आप दिखा दी तो ज्यादा अच्छा होगा। वो पिक्चर जनता देख लेना। उदयभान जो विधायक जी के साथ जो पिक्चर
दूसरी बात सदाकत की जो पिक्चर है समाजवादी पार्टी का साफा क्यों पहने हुए?
अब मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको।
और समाजवादी पार्टी का तो ये ऑफिस है ना लखनऊ वाला।
यही मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ। ऑफिस की पिक्चर है और जो विधायक जी के साथ पिक्चर हो किसी घर पे बैठे या किसी अच्छी जगह बैठे, दोनों
समाजवादी पार्टी का साफा पहन के क्या
तो वो ऑफिस में समाजवादी पार्टी के ऑफिस में चूंकि अखिलेश जी बैठते हैं और जनता से एक एक व्यक्ति से मिलते हैं। अब जो जिसको लेके आता है मिला जाता है, फोटो देखो आप, हाथ पकड़ के फोटो खिंचाता है, चला जाता है। पार्टी ऑफिस में आया पहन के खड़ा हो गया तो आप रोक लेंगे क्या? नहीं, आप कम्युनिकेशन दिखाइए।
अरे तो ये तो
नहीं, आप ये बताइए, देखिए आप बचाने के, आप बीजेपी की बैटिंग करने में लगे। आप फोटो दिखाइए, विधायक की फोटो दिखाइए, आप विधायक की फोटो दिखाइए, आप विधायक की फोटो दिखाइए, आप विधायक उदयभान की फोटो दिखाइए,
चलाइए भाई उदयभान की फोटो,
देखिए चलाइए, फिर मैं आपको बताऊंगा। दिखाइए ना, दिखाइए ना, इतनी देर से आपने दिखाया नहीं, अभी 5 मिनट हो गए आप फोटो नहीं दिखा रहे।
अरे आप मेरी बात तो सुन लीजिए, मेरी बात मैं आपको खुद खोल के दिखा देती हूँ।
अरे उसमें छोड़िए,
खुद खोल के दिखा देती हूँ मैं।
दिखा सकते हो चैनल पे, उसके लिए मोबाइल की जरूरत पड़ गई।
अरे सर होल्ड ऑन ना,
कमाल की बात है, होल्ड ऑन। अरे आप बोलिए अपने,
चलिए देखिए मोहम्मद गुलाम की फोटो है भाजपा के नेताओं के साथ, वो दिखा देते हैं।
बिल्कुल,
आप सदाकत की भी फोटो दिखाइए, ठीक है? अब आप पहले मेरे को ये बताइए, अरे आप बात इधर उधर क्यों कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, आप बीजेपी के विधायक के साथ उसकी फोटो दिखाइए।
अरे दिखा दी ना,
अभी कहाँ दिखा दी? अरे और दूसरी भी दिखाइए, किस तरह आराम से बैठे हैं दोनों लोग, आपस में कैसे गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं। भैया कैसे हो, क्या हालचाल है, यही तो लग रहा है फोटो देख के। और हमारे यहाँ फोटो का बैकग्राउंड में देख लीजिए कि पार्टी ऑफिस की फोटो है, लोग आते हैं, मिलते हैं, चले जाते हैं। ये समाजवादी पार्टी
ऐसा नहीं होता है अनुराग भदौरिया जी, अनुराग नहीं कोई नहीं होता ऐसा। अरे 10 बार गए अनुराग जी, अरे 10 बार गए हम समाजवादी पार्टी के ऑफिस।
फोटो दिखाइए कौन कौन खड़ा, लेके आने वाला कौन,
और ऐसा कभी नहीं होता। चलिए देखिए उदय भान के साथ सदाकत खान की ये
बैकग्राउंड देखिए क्या है, ठीक है? बैकग्राउंड देखिए क्या है, ये
जो बैकग्राउंड उनका घर का बैकग्राउंड है, उनका घर का बैकग्राउंड है।
घर में बैठे हैं, घर में बातचीत हो रही है। घर का रिश्ता पक्का होता है या पार्टी ऑफिस में कोई आके फोटो खिंचा के चला जाता है, वो है?
पहली बात
घर के अंदर कौन आएगा?
ओके, पहली बात ये है, चलिए पहली बात ये है,
जिनका घनिष्ठ संबंध होता है।
जहां तक उदय भान की सवाल है वो अनिला सिंह देंगी। मुझे आपसे सवाल ये पूछना है, पहली बात तो ये है, समाजवादी पार्टी के ऑफिस में कोई भी एरागर नथु खैरा आकर के अखिलेश जी से कम ऐसे नहीं मिल सकता।
समाजवादी पार्टी
अखिलेश जी से नहीं मिल सकता।
मैं बता रहा हूं, मिल सकता है, वही तो मैं कह रहा हूं। अखिलेश यादव जी
कितनी बार देखा है हमने, लोग आते हैं मिलने के लिए, हर कोई नहीं मिलता
बैठते हैं, लोग आते हैं, फोटो खिंचाते हैं, चले जाते हैं,
हर कोई नहीं मिलता।
माथे पे किसी के लिखा नहीं होता। एक से दूसरी बात,
और
सवाल ये नहीं है, सवाल ये नहीं है, सवाल ये
एक सेकंड, सदाकत खान अकेला नहीं है। आतिक अहमद के बेटे के साथ भी सदाकत खान की फोटो है। अतीक अहमद खुद आपके टिकट पर चुन करके गए हुए हैं, ये तो पूरी दुनिया जानती है। तो ये समाजवादी पार्टी के जो मल्टीपल लिंक्स हैं,
बता दो ना, अब बात तो बोलने दो।
उससे एक उदय भान की तस्वीर से तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना।
यही तो बात, घर में बैठ के आप खाना खा रहे, गप्पे मार रहे, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। पार्टी ऑफिस में कोई आके फोटो खिंचा गया, फर्क पड़ता है। एक बात। दूसरी बात, भारतीय जनता पार्टी से सवाल ये होना चाहिए कि प्रयागराज में दिन दहाड़े बमबाजी हुई, दिन दहाड़े गोलियां चली, तो क्या लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पे चर्चा नहीं होनी चाहिए? चर्चा किस पे कर रहे हो आप? चर्चा किस पे हो रही है? फोटो पे हो रही है। कितनी फोटो आपको मिल जाएंगी मुख्यमंत्री जी के साथ, कोई बड़े नेताओं के साथ, बड़े नेताओं के साथ, कई लोगों की फोटो मिल जाएंगी। फोटो बड़ी चीज नहीं है।
फोटो की बात नहीं है ना,
खिंचाता हमसे कोई नहीं खिंचाता रहता है। हम लोग नहीं, आप भी जाते हैं, आप भी घर से निकलते हैं एयरपोर्ट पे, हम भी जाते हैं।
नहीं जी, मैं तो सदाकत खान के साथ फोटो ऐसे नहीं खिंचा सकती कि कोई भी आकर,
हमें तो कोई भी मिलता बोला सेल्फी लेंगे सर, फोटो खींचना तो खिंच जाती है, क्या दिक्कत है उसमें?
आप जननेता हैं, बट आप ऐसे लोगों से दूर रहा कीजिए।
फोटो है तो उसमें लिए
आप शूटर वूटर से दूर रहा कीजिए, अनुराग जी मत खिंचाया कीजिए, प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी। आप शूटर वूटर के साथ मत खिंचाया कीजिए, आप ही के लिए बोल
चलेगा एयरपोर्ट में कोई मिला शूटर है।
अच्छा चलिए, कोई
उसके चेहरे पे तो लिखा नहीं है।
अनिला सिंह, ये बताइए कि आप एक फोटो के बल पर कह रहे हैं कि भाई माफिया राज है, माफिया राज है। आपके खुद के जो पूर्व एमएलए हैं वो भी सदाकत खान के साथ बड़े मुस्कुरा रहे हैं।
हाँ, और बड़े आराम से, जैसे गुफ्तगू चल रही है।
अखिलेश जी भी आराम से खड़े हैं भाई, आप तो पूरा बॉडी लैंग्वेज स्पेशलिस्ट बन गए हैं। वो आराम से खड़े हैं, वो तनाव में खड़े हैं, वो 2 मीटर दूर खड़े हैं, वो सट के खड़े हैं।
अरे अनुराग जी, आप पोलो प्लेयर हैं, मुझे पता है, पर जरा अपने घोड़े ना जरा वाले घोड़े ना लगातार आप छोड़े हुए हैं, उनको जरा बांध के रखिए। तो मैं केवल ये कहना चाहती हूँ, यहाँ पर इनके वर्तमान के अध्यक्ष जो हैं, एक जघन्य अपराधी के साथ करीब से खड़े होके हाथ मिलाकर फोटो खिंचवा रहे। यानी समाजवादी पार्टी एक बड़ा राजनीतिक दल उत्तर प्रदेश का, और हाल फिलहाल का कोई छोटा मोटा राजनीतिक दल नहीं है, उसके अध्यक्ष से कोई मिलता है तो आपको लगता है कोई भी ऐसे जाके उनके ऑफिस में जाके मिल लेगा? उसका पूरा इतिहास
वो कह रहे हैं आपके विधायक के घर पे जाके लोग मिल रहे हैं।
उनके कहने से नहीं पद्मजा जी, मैं बता रही हूँ, हमारे तो किसी पूर्व विधायक के बारे में ये चर्चा कर रहे हैं। अरे पूर्व क्या होता है भाई, वर्तमान बात करो।
अच्छा, मतलब वो आपकी पार्टी में नहीं है, विधायक को डिनाई कर दिया। अरे बाप रे,
हमारे योगी आदित्यनाथ जी दहाड़ रहे थे तो अखिलेश यादव जी के पैर कपा रहे थे, जवान लड़खड़ा रही थी, क्योंकि ऐसा राजनीतिक दल जो केवल गुंडागर्दी, माफिया गर्दी, डॉन गर्दी इस पर चलता हो,
वो जो दिखाई पड़ रहा है उत्तर प्रदेश में,
डॉन माफिया,
उत्तर प्रदेश में गोलियां चली हैं, सरेआम बमबाजी हुई है,
उन सबके साथ जो है मिलकर राज चलाने का इनका केवल अनुभव है कि सट्टेबाजी, ये सारे किडनैपिंग, नोएडा में हम रहते हैं।
अनुराग भदौरिया, चलिए आप तस्वीर को छोड़ दीजिए, भले से ही बीजेपी के नेता के साथ तस्वीर हो उसकी और आपके पार्टी अध्यक्ष के साथ तस्वीर हो, बट एक ही मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और एक ही पार्टी के मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है जो कि कह रहे हैं कि भाई अरे अरबाज को, असद को गोली क्यों मार दी, वहां पे वो मुसलमानों पे जुल्म हो रहा है, वहां पर कोई शूटर को मारा जा रहा है, और आपके मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट एक बार फिर से कह रहे हैं कि भैया मुसलमानों के खिलाफ जुल्म है।
देखिए, आपको मैं सीधी सी
आप कह रहे हैं लॉ एंड ऑर्डर संभाला जाना चाहिए, जब लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की कार्रवाई होती है वो कहते हैं मुसलमानों पे जुल्म है।
मैं तो आपसे कहता हूं कि अगर आप देखेंगे भारतीय जनता पार्टी के जो मंत्री हैं, कितने मंत्री अभी हैं जिन पे आपराधिक मुकदमे, जरा बता दीजिए अनिला सिंह जी, उत्तर प्रदेश में। अरे क्या बात कर रहे हैं, अरे क्या बात कर रहे हैं, आपराधिक मुकदमे का कोई मतलब नहीं है। 114 विधायक ऐसे 2017 में ऐसे थे जिन पे आपराधिक मुकदमे थे, तो इसका मतलब आपका मतलब क्या हुआ? मैंने कमाल की बात कर रहे हैं आप। इसके पहले कल्याण सिंह, भटका नहीं रहा हूं, अरे मैं आपको अटका रहा हूं सही जगह पे, क्योंकि आप भटकाते हो, मैंने आपको सही जगह पकड़ रखा है।
सीधी बात यह है कि अगर प्रयागराज में गोलियां चलती हैं, आप कहते हैं असेंबली में अखिलेश जी कि भाई लॉ एंड ऑर्डर आप सही कीजिए, एनकाउंटर होता है आपके सांसद कहते हैं मुसलमानों पे जुल्म क्यों कर रहे हैं? अरे एनकाउंटर मुसलमानों पे कब से जुल्म हो गया?
सवाल ये है कि हम
शूटर की पूजा करें क्या?
नहीं, पूजा बीजेपी कर सकती है ना, समाजवादी नहीं करते। समाजवादी तो डिमांड करते हैं कि आप बताइए सदन में खड़े होके कि गोलीबारी कैसे चल रही है उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर में। कोई की पहली घटना नहीं है, इसके पहले हाथरस में घटना हुई, उसके पहले कानपुर में हुई,
जब विकास दुबे का एनकाउंटर होता है आप कहते हैं ब्राह्मण पर जुल्म हो रहा है।
बताइए,
जब किसी और शूटर पे
ब्राह्मण पे मैंने
अरे विकास दुबे में पूरे समाजवादी पार्टी ने कहा
कोई जात नहीं होती, अपराधी का कोई धर्म नहीं होता, अपराधी का कोई दल नहीं होता, वो इंसानियत उसकी कोई इंसानियत नहीं होती है, वो इंसानियत के लिए खतरा होता है।
अनुराग भदौरिया जी, विकास दुबे का एनकाउंटर हुआ, विकास दुबे का एनकाउंटर हुआ क्योंकि वो माफिया था। तब आपने ब्राह्मण कार्ड खेल दिया आपकी पार्टी ने। अरे आपकी पार्टी ने बोला क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप?
अरे हमने कब दिखाइए, आप दिखाइए, चलिए बाइट चलवाइए, चलवाइए बाइट चलवाइए। नहीं बाइट चलवाइए, बोला तो नहीं बाइट चलवाइए, बाइट चलवाइए, नहीं बाइट चलवाइए ना, बाइट चलवाइए। कुछ भी बोल देंगे आपके, नहीं हमने बोला, हम तो बोलते हैं कि गलत आदमी के, हमने सुन लीजिए, हमने जो बोला सुन लीजिए, हमने बोला जो गुनाह करेगा उसे सजा मिलेगी, लेकिन जो गुनाह नहीं कर रहा उसको सजा क्यों दी जाती है? हमने इसलिए उठाया था, हमने इसलिए उठाया था कि लखीमपुर के एमपी जो आज के देश में नहीं, आज का यहाँ पे केंद्रीय राज्य मंत्री बना हुआ है, उसके बेटे ने रोना, उसके ऊपर मुकदमे क्यों नहीं आप हटाते? जरा मुझे बता दीजिए, लखीमपुर से सांसद का क्या नाम है, मालूम है कि नहीं आपको? लखीमपुर का सांसद का क्या नाम है? क्या वो अभी मंत्री है कि नहीं है? क्या उसके बेटे पे रौंदने का आरोप है कि नहीं है? क्या उनके खिलाफ मुकदमे है कि नहीं है? सवाल ये नहीं है।
पहले आप ये सुनिए, आपको बाइट सुननी है, चलिए आप बाइट सुनिए ना, आप सुनिए ना, और ये बताइए कि आपके सांसद को अभी क्यों परेशानी है? सुनिए।
नहीं अभी आप
अरे आप सुनिए ना,
कानपुर की घटना पे
अभी आप सुनिए ना, सुनिए।
कमाल है भाई।
इस सरकार का सबसे बड़ी कमी है कि यहाँ पर मर्डर बहुत है और आमतौर से मुसलमानों के साथ तो जुल्म हो इस देश में है ही, लेकिन हमारी गवर्नमेंट बहरहाल इस निज़ाम को ठीक नहीं कर रही है। ठीक है भाई, झगड़े तो मुल्क में कहीं ना कहीं होते रहते हैं, लेकिन इस किस्म के झगड़े के उनको गोली मार दी गई, किसी का ये कर दिया गया, ये क्यों हो रहा है? गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रही है? पुलिस अपनी मर्जी से न कोई हिफाजत करती है न कुछ करती है, बल्कि पैसे कमा रही है पुलिस भी।
क्या बोला उन्होंने? क्या गोली मार दी जा रही है? तो उन्होंने तो नहीं बोला कि पुलिस गोली मार दे रही है, उन्होंने कहा यहाँ पे क्या किसी को भी गोली मार दी जा रही है? पुलिस अपना,
अरे गैंगस्टर है भाई, वो क्रेटा गाड़ी चला रहा था।
दोबारा चलाइए। देखिए बात का बतंगा बनाना, वो एक बात कह रहे हैं, कि भाई यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, कानून का राज क्यों नहीं है? तो जब वो कानून के राज पे सवाल उठा रहे हैं तो आप उसको गैंगस्टर से जोड़ दे रहे हैं।
क्या हो रहा है? अरे उनसे सवाल पूछा गया था,
उन्होंने बोला क्या हो रहा है, कोई किसी को भी गोली मार दे रहा है, मतलब गुंडे कोई किसी गोली मार दे रहा है। आप कह रहे हो कि पुलिस ने गोली मार दी माफिया को, मतलब किसी से कुछ भी ऐड कर दोगे? ये कमाल की बात है।
अनुराग भदौरिया जी, आप ही सबसे अच्छे विश्लेषक, आप पहले लोगों की बॉडी लैंग्वेज का विश्लेषण करते हैं कि भाई भाजपा के साथ तो वो जो कंस्पिरेटर है वो बड़ा खुश दिख रहा है, अखिलेश जी के साथ बड़ा दूरी बनाए हुए हैं। अब आप ये भी एनालिसिस कर देंगे कि शफीउर रहमान बर्क किस गोली का जिक्र कर रहे थे?
कि कोई किसी को मार दे रहा है, मतलब गुंडागर्दी ज्यादा बढ़ी हुई है। सवाल इस बात का है, बम चल रहे हैं, गोलियां चल रही हैं, आप उसको ऐड कर दे रहे हो कि नहीं उन्होंने इस कंटेस्ट में?
ये आपकी एनालिसिस होगी।
परसेप्शन चलाना बंद होना चाहिए उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर में। मैंने फिर बोल रहा हूं कि कानून व्यवस्था पे सरकार काम करे, ये बॉल इधर उधर ना फेंके, इसके पाले में उसके पाले में गोलियां चली हैं, बम चले, दोबारा ना चले, कैसे कानून व्यवस्था मजबूत हो, इस पे सरकार काम करे।
चलिए, आपने कानून व्यवस्था मजबूत होने की बात कही है, ऐसे ही अतीक अहमद के जो बेटे हैं उसके ऊपर 50,000 रुपए का इनाम हो गया है, बाकी लोग भी नामजद हैं। अब कल को अगर गिरफ्तारी होती है तो आप उस पर सवाल उठा के ये मत कहिएगा कि लोगों पर जुल्म हो रहा है। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर स्टेट पे छोड़ दीजिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच अनिला सिंह, अनुराग भदौरिया फॉर जॉइनिंग मी। थैंक्स सो मच।
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
के वो गिरने शुरू हो गए। Facebook का revenue was down 52% in Q3 of this year. Google too reported the slowest growth in 10 years. So now these companies are tightening their belt and, in their words, becoming more streamlined and hence slashing jobs. In fact, many companies like Meta, amongst others, are now reducing real estate and enabling desk sharing. Snapchat is letting go of its offices in San Francisco, so tightening their belt to save costs and hence firing more people. और जो US में होता है उसका असर पूरे वर्ल्ड में तो आता ही है, and that's why firings have also been seen in India. Job cuts यहाँ पे भी हो रहे हैं. But basic problem जो है overall इसकी ये है कि tech as an industry has matured. ये starting के extreme funding और growth के phase में नहीं है. अब issue है innovation का. So ये reconfiguration का time है, reset का time है. तो pressure obviously रहेगा sustained profitability के ऊपर. But does this mean
the news hour at 10?
Forces eliminate 2 terrorists who killed Kashmiri Hindu, Sanjay Sharma in Kashmir's Pulwama. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde writes to Deputy Speaker Neelam Gore to appoint Shiv Sena's Chief Whip leader in Legislative Council. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis will address MLAs at the joint meeting of BJP and Shinde Sena. In a symbolic protest, NCP MLAs arrive with onions at Maharashtra's Vidhan Bhavan, demanding appropriate prices for onions. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann announces application for general public to access government policies and IDs.
The news hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The golden run of tech is over forever. Well, for now it is, but not for too long. I'll tell you why. 1-2 साल के बाद सब वापस आएंगे जॉब्स देने के लिए. अभी जस्टिफाई करना है कंपनीज को, इन्वेस्टर्स को फायरिंग करके कॉस्ट कटिंग से. बट ये ज्यादा टाइम तक नहीं चल सकता बिकॉज बिजनेसेस को प्रॉफिटेबल बनाने के लिए बाकी चीजों पे जैसे प्रोडक्ट स्ट्रैटेजी पे भी ध्यान देना होगा, जिसके लिए वर्कफोर्स बढ़ानी पड़ेगी. नंबर 2, टेक इज द फ्यूचर. देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट दैट. सो कंपनीज विल नीड टू इन्वेस्ट इन न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज, जिसके लिए अगेन दे नीड टू रीहायर. एंड नंबर 3, इंडिया यहाँ पे बेटर प्लेस्ड है. व्हाई? बिकॉज टेक कंपनीज यूएस में एम्प्लॉइज को हाई सैलरीज देती हैं टू द ट्यून ऑफ $200,000 और वहां पे मोस्टली इंडियंस काम करते हैं. और वहां पे और भी एक्सपेंसेस हैं फॉर कंपनीज लाइक इंश्योरेंस, पर्क्स. ऊपर से बे एरिया इज वन ऑफ द कॉस्टलीस्ट एरियाज. तो उसकी जगह अगर काम इंडिया में आउटसोर्स कर देंगे तो उनके लिए भी कॉस्ट कम होगी. सो बिग टेक बिग तो बहुत हो गया है, बट अब चैलेंज होगा उसके पास ग्रोथ वर्सेस प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी के ऊपर फोकस रखना. एंड गाइस, दीज फायरिंग्स कैन बी कंसिडर्ड जस्ट अ ब्लिप, बट ओवरऑल कोर्स जो है वो काफी लंबा होगा बिकॉज
द न्यूज आवर एट 10.
Advocate and social activist Vineet Jindal files complaint under UAPA against Amritpal Singh and Waris Punjab Day. Woman delivers child outside a government hospital in Jodhpur. Family alleges misbehavior by administration. Speeding car mows down and kills 3 students in Kerala's Tirupattur district. Locals catch drivers, hand him over to the cops. Unidentified miscreant stabbed Karnataka Youth Congress President Prashant Aparaja in Kagwad. Delhi Police Special Cell arrests sacked PSF constable for siphoning off about ₹70 lakh from retirement funds.
Remember, tech is the future. So let me know what you think of this story. For everything on tech, keep following Gadget Times, powered by Times Now.
हेलो एवरीवन, स्वागत है आप सभी का टाइम्स ड्राइव के इस वीडियो में. मैं हूं अंकुर तनेजा और मेरे बगल में खड़ी है शकोडा कुशाक का एनिवर्सरी एडिशन. टाइगुन के एनिवर्सरी एडिशन के बाद अब कुशाक का भी एनिवर्सरी एडिशन आ गया है. चेंजेस क्या हैं उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस वीडियो में. तो सबसे पहले जो चेंज फ्रंट में देखने को मिलेगा, इसमें ग्रिल में क्रोम का एलिमेंट यहां पर ऐड करा गया है. तो ये एक नया एलिमेंट यहां पर इस कुशाक के एनिवर्सरी एडिशन में देखने को मिल रहा है. फ्रंट में इसके अलावा हेडलाइट्स, बम्पर का डिज़ाइन सब कुछ पहले जैसा है, कोई बदलाव वहाँ पर देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है. देन साइड में आए तो यहाँ पर भी कॉस्मेटिक बदलाव हुए हैं, जैसे कि ये डोर में यहाँ वाइजर दिया गया है. इधर ये डोर प्रोटेक्टर्स दिए गए हैं, नीचे भी इधर क्रोम का एलिमेंट यहाँ पर इसमें इस एनिवर्सरी एडिशन में ऐड करा गया है। एंड पीछे की तरफ आएँ तो यहाँ पर ये एनिवर्सरी एडिशन के डीकैल्स इधर इस सी पिलर में यहाँ पे कुशाक के इस एनिवर्सरी एडिशन में देखने को मिल रहे हैं। सो एक्सटीरियर की बात करें तो चेंजेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्सटीरियर ये कुछ यहाँ पर करे गए हैं। इंटीरियर की बात करें तो वहाँ पर जो चेंज हुआ है तो पहला चेंज हुआ है स्टीयरिंग जो है इसका, वहाँ पर इसमें एनिवर्सरी एडिशन की बैजिंग दी गई है, तो वो एक बदलाव इसमें देखने को मिलेगा। एंड इसमें जो है स्क्रीन जो है 10 इंच का दिया गया है, जबकि नॉर्मल कुशाक में 8 इंच का स्क्रीन देखने को मिलता है। मॉन्टी कार्लो जो एडिशन है उसमें 10 इंच का है, अब इसमें भी 10 इंच का स्क्रीन देखने को मिलता है। देन पिलोज जो है इसमें ये पिलोज दिए गए हैं फ्रंट पैसेंजर और रियर पैसेंजर्स के लिए। एंड जो इसके मैट हैं वो भी अब 3D मैट इसमें अब कुशाक में एनिवर्सरी एडिशन में स्कोडा इसके साथ दे रही है। एंड फाइनल चेंज जो हुआ है वो है इसका ये की कवर जो देख रहे हैं, ये लेदर टाइप ये कवर इसमें दिया गया है की के साथ, जो इस एनिवर्सरी एडिशन के साथ स्कोडा इसमें दे रही है। बात करूं ऑप्शंस की, इंजन ऑप्शंस की, तो 1 लीटर और 1.5 लीटर दोनों में ही अवेलेबल होने वाली है। टॉप वेरिएंट्स में मैनुअल और ऑटोमेटिक दोनों में ये ऑप्शन एनिवर्सरी एडिशन का स्कोडा दे रही है। प्राइस की बात करें तो तकरीबन 30,000 प्राइस नॉर्मल कुशाक के मुकाबले इस एनिवर्सरी एडिशन का बदल गया है। 30,000 आपको एक्स्ट्रा नॉर्मल कुशाक के मुकाबले इसके लिए पे करने पड़ेंगे। तो ये हैं कुछ बदलाव इस स्कोडा कुशाक एनिवर्सरी एडिशन को लेकर। कैसे लगे आपको, चेंजेस रिक्वायर्ड थे या नहीं थे, कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइएगा। वीडियो अच्छा लगा है तो लाइक, शेयर और टाइम्स ड्राइव को फॉलो करना मत भूलिएगा।
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.